Legends, welcome to another live stream. Bitcoin is pumping aggressively here to the upside. Will the momentum continue, or is this becoming an interesting shorting opportunity? Remember to smash up that like button. As per the disclaimer, I am not a financial advisor. I'm simply sharing with you how I trade and approach the markets from an education and entertainment perspective only. I encourage you to do your own research. I walk you through the levels I'm watching and how I'm planning my own trades. And this should not be constituted as financial advice. Oops, wrong button. Let me try again. There we go. Right, legends. Here we are on Monday. Hope you had a fantastic weekend. Bitcoin is pushing here to the upside, and with a long opportunity I did highlight this morning inside of the Legends community. Okay, I did highlight this little long trade inside of the community. I'm not sure if anyone took that trade. It'll align maybe with your own analysis. The risk management, I must say, was absolutely fantastic. And now price has taken the high again, and now the question on everyone's mind, is it going to continue, or is the structure slowing down? Are we going to see a deeper correction to the downside? Is it going to continue? Okay, and that's what I need to analyze today. I think Andy did provide a beautiful little video update this morning, and I'm basically going to rehash what he said in his video update as well. And right, let's get the technical analysis on the road. And as always, let me say hi to the community. Okay, people inside of the live stream, let's go back from holidays. Ready to keep learning from you. Devil, welcome to the live stream. Great to see you. Yeah, yes. Let's go to all-time high. All-time high. Right, cheers, Devil and Legends. Market M, always appreciate the mods here in the house. I did see Bug Maria, I did see A Trader, I did see Riz, or got the moderators moderating, helping here with the comments inside of the live section. And right, let's continue. Hi Devil, I got into a stupid short at 70k. Yeah, and ended up putting too much without a stop loss. My liquidation is at 86,200. Well, this is a fun way to start off the live stream. Okay, because last week was an interesting week, guys. I received many of these messages last week. Okay, and I'm surprised that there are still people holding on to positions. Okay, the market can do, there's a saying that says inside of the market that says the market can stay irrational for longer than people can stay solvent. So, I don't know what to tell you, okay? I will do some technical analysis. I'll show you the probabilities of what I see can play out over here, and then you have to make a decision. Unfortunately, I cannot help you click the buttons. Okay, and I cannot tell you what you need to do because I'm not a financial advisor. Right. So maybe make a decision after I've done the analysis based on your own analysis, and then you can make a financial decision. But I mean, there's a chance, okay, there's a chance that price could correct a little bit deeper, okay, as per the levels that Andy also highlighted. But let me do the analysis, and then you can make your own trading decision. Okay, I see people are jumping in, just giving some advice. Ouch. Yeah, okay, gonna close it at 60, but never got there. Not a great position to be in, and I can imagine, sleepless nights, biting your fingernails. It's not a great position to be in, but let it also be a lesson, okay, for the next time, right? And if you can learn from that lesson and never do it again, great, then you've learned the lesson. But a lot of people don't learn this lesson. They do it over and over and over, and they get themselves into these toxic situations every single time. So worst case scenario, okay, is... well, best case scenario is that you learn from this. Right, I never, ever trade without a stop loss. And it's not, I'm sure you're beating yourself up because you did trade without a stop loss, and it's not what you want to hear. But I think for everyone else, it's never a great idea to trade without a stop loss, okay? Right, but let's see. Based on the technical analysis that I'm going to share, we are approaching some key areas of resistance to the upside where I am looking for a short. Okay, I am looking for a short, legends, because I am still in this long position. I have taken most of the profits, DCAing myself out of the position, not into a position. Okay, I'm DCAing myself out of this position. I don't care if it goes to much higher prices, and I get comments from people saying, well, what if you just left the whole position? How much money would you have made now? It's not about that for me, guys. My trading style is this, okay? I hedge, I look for shorts, I look for longs, and I have runners. And this runner has really paid off in dividends, okay? And I've taken aggressive profits with this one, with a momentum here to the upside. And I've taken a little bit more profits even today. With this little push here to the upside, I've taken more profits because I know price is approaching interesting resistance. Okay, so I'm looking for a short on this account. I'm looking for a short. And right, I literally I don't have much of this position running here to the upside. Taken most of the profits, and this morning I also jumped into another long on one of my other trading accounts, and it's still running as well. Okay, I need to update that. That's obviously a little bit bigger now with this push here to the upside. But I did share that setup, what I'm looking at inside of our community. Remember, if you want to be part of our community, there's a lot going on inside of the community. Words of encouragement, people telling their stories, people hammering on risk management, education, learning, bouncing ideas around with like-minded people. It's not just myself and Andy that are professional traders. There are many other professional traders inside of our community. Remember, you can send me simply the word access to my Telegram, and I'll send you the instructions on how you can join. So, you know, for me, based on what happened last week, for me, it was a great week last week, okay? Because I literally did not have to do anything. I could just manage my trade to the upside, okay? I also attempted shorts last week. On the 20th of August, 1, 2, 3, 4 shorts. And all 4 of them got stopped out with profits. Then on the 21st, I think, which was Friday, it was another short. Closed it with profits. And now today, the 24th of August, because I usually don't trade on weekends, I entered a long. Okay, and you know, obviously, as a day trader, for me, it's about scratching my dollars from the market. It's not, for me, it's not about being wrong or right. That's not the question for me. For me, the question is, when I'm wrong, how little do I lose? And when I'm right, how much do I make? And that is what keeps me profitable. For me, it's not about predicting the market with 100% certainty, because there will always be people that says, I told you so. Okay? And I will be wrong from time to time with my technical analysis. But when I'm wrong, how little do I lose? Okay? And when I'm right, how much do I make? And it's the wins that, you know, accumulates. It adds up, guys. It adds up. Every small little win, it doesn't matter how small the win is, it adds up. It adds up. It adds up. And when I have a loss, how small can I keep that loss? Okay. If you want to take your trading to the next level, if you want to surround yourself with like-minded people, if you really want to learn to do this properly, okay, this is the, you know, it's our community. I'm not saying that you are going to be successful by joining the community. It's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, if you want to learn to fish properly and not rely on signals, I think our community is the best community to learn to do this properly. Okay, send me the word access to my Telegram, and I'll send you the instructions on how to join. Right, because last week, guys, it was bittersweet. Sorry, guys, I just wanna. I'm just wondering if I should attempt this SFP trade over here. And if I do attempt it, I think I'm gonna go in with a small position, because I can see that we're swinging the highs. Can you see that we're swinging the local highs over there? There is still some liquidity to the upside. There's more interesting levels that I want to short from, but I cannot ignore the fact that price is now trading below the high. the local high. Can you see? Okay, if I go into the 15-minute time frame, because when price is here, I mean, the risk management is amazing. Okay, and when I'm wrong, that's why I say, guys, how little can I lose when I'm wrong? If price is going to reject, that's a great place to reject. Grab the liquidity above the highs and then fall to the downside. Okay, the risk management for me doesn't get better than that. If I'm wrong, it's a tiny, tiny, tiny stop loss. Okay, the name of the game for me is how little can I lose. Right, so I'm going to just go in here with a tiny, tiny, tiny small little position, guys. And maybe, yeah, I'm just going to do a tiny, tiny, tiny position over here. Let me go to the 15-minute time frame here on my Bluffin account. Okay, so we can add this to the journal. Right, legends, I'm literally going to go in with 2%. Okay, at 10x leverage of my portfolio. I'm going to enter a little short over here, and literally I'm going to put my SL above the high. That's it. Okay, not going to go too crazy with this little trade, but now I've got a little shorty running over here. It's not getting above the high. It's a valid swing failure pattern. So all I'm doing over here is I'm executing my SFP strategy. That's all I'm doing. I'm going in a little bit lighter. Okay, because there are more interesting levels to the upside. I'm more interested in the levels to the upside, but I have to acknowledge, okay, that price can swing the highs, grab the liquidity, and fall to the downside. Okay, if I'm wrong, how little can I lose? So if I do get stopped out of this trade, I will add it to my trading journal as a loss. Remember to smash up that like button if you do enjoy the education and the entertainment here on this YouTube live stream. Right, let me continue. Guys, I'm going to be here for a little bit longer today. Okay, it's not going to just be an hour live stream. I'm going to be here for a little bit longer. So if price continues to the upside, I will share with you based on the technical analysis where I'm actually waiting for the short. Okay, but I cannot ignore the fact that price is rejecting this high at the moment. So I'm giving it a small little attempt over here. Let's see how this unfolds. Okay, let me continue with the comments, and then I will dive into the technical analysis. Okay, good morning, Maria. Great to see you here. Much love. Same to you. Getting ready for my short. Yes, I'm also getting ready for the short. Okay, but there is a more interesting level to the upside that I'm eyeing, but I'm giving an attempt over here because I mean it's a valid swing. It's a valid SFP from the high. Okay. Good evening, Deviled and Legends, Mr. Alex, Wino SL. Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, it's one of those unfortunate things that when you are underwater, okay, the last thing you want to hear is people telling you why did you trade without a stop loss. It is what it is. You've already made the mistake and now you're trying to get out of it. Okay, so, but I'm sure the lesson has been learned. Are we getting another chance of sub 60 accumulation? Oh, that would be absolutely wonderful. There's definitely on the cards. Okay, it definitely is on the cards, and I'll show you here on the higher time frame what I'm looking at. Hi, Alex, great to see you here. A trader, what's up, legends? Welcome to the live stream. Good afternoon, Devil and traders. Let's get ready to learn and enjoy. Yeah, well, it seems that the live stream kicked off with a little bit of a scalpy short over here. Hi, everyone, doing some trades from my vacation location today. Great, man. Hope you're all having a fantastic day. Yeah, please don't forget to smash up that like button. Devil the King put on mascara. Welcome to the live stream. Good morning, Devil and Legends. Are we ready for an epic short? I am looking for that epic short. Okay, I want that epic short that does, whoops, that does this to the downside. Okay, I'm looking for an epic short that does this to the downside. Okay, I'm looking for that short. Looking for that short. Okay. And I can attempt that short multiple times. Okay, and I mean, I've explained that last week, guys, in so much detail. I can attempt a short multiple times and get stopped out with a small loss or even with profits based on the execution and the risk management strategy that I've developed over years. Okay, so let's see how this unfolds. And right, also SFP from a major pivot looking left. Looking left, harmonic fisherman, major pivot looking left. Let's go check that out. You're most probably talking about on the higher time frame. Major pivot. I'm not sure which pivot you are talking about. Okay, all I see is the high over there. Right, let's see how this unfolds. Okay, legends, let's continue with the technical analysis. What do I see over here? The most important structure. Okay, let's start with the weekly time frame. Okay, let's start here quickly with the weekly time frame. For the moment, the momentum is aggressively still to the downside. I know people are most probably going to tell me, but what about this candle? Yes, it is aggressive, quite aggressive weekly close, okay? But for now, based on the current price action I see right now, price is still forming lower highs. It's very close to the high, but it's still a lower high, and price is forming lower lows. Okay, so price could reject without taking that high and fall to the downside and create another lower low. So the bulls have their work cut out for them still. Okay, and then there's that scenario that I shared last week to say that even if the high gets claimed, okay, I'm not going to go through all the scenarios, it's going to take a little bit of time. Even if this high, let me just switch off that magnet, gets claimed, as long as this structure remains a three-wave structure, even if that high is claimed and it falls to the downside and it hits a specific level, there's a higher chance that price can still take the low. Well, let me keep it simple. As long as the structure remains a three-wave structure, it doesn't matter how high it goes. Even if it goes to $100,000, it doesn't matter how high the structure goes. As long as it's a three-wave structure, there's a high chance it's going to take that damn low. So the bulls need to form a 4 and a 5. They need to do this. They have to do that for me to change bias. I don't care how high it goes. In fact, the higher it goes, the greater the shorting opportunity for me. Because I can just imagine how bullish people are going to turn if this had to happen. It's going to be absolutely insane. The bull market is back. All the thumbnails are going to be the low is in, bull market is back. Well, I love to trade against sentiment. Love it. Okay, that's how I've made most of my money in my career, is to trade against sentiment when everyone switches bullish. Well, there's Dierwold looking for shorts. There's Dierwold getting hate inside of his live streams because everyone's bullish and he's looking for a short. Okay, I will still be looking for a short as long as the structure remains a three-wave structure. Hell, and even if it does turn into a three-wave structure, you know me by now, I'm going to make money with that small little move. I'm going to get stopped out and I'm going to short that high again. Okay. And right, legends. So for the bulls, I just want to highlight that the structure needs to form a 5-wave structure to the upside. So if this is the 1, let's just keep it simple. I know there's a different count where you can put 1 over there. There's your 2, and now it's forming your 3 and your 4 and your 5 here to the upside. Okay, let's just keep it simple so that everyone understands. You have a 1, you have a 2 at the low of the structure, and this is what the bulls wants to see, because at least that opens up the door that the low could be in. So for me as a technical trader, I need confirmation, and the structure is my confirmation, not just a higher high. I want to see a 5-wave structure to the upside, because the market moves in 5 waves, either to the upside or to the downside. Once I see this, I will be paying attention to that. That is where I'm going to focus like a hawk on that structure. Is it corrective or is it impulsive to the downside? Because if it's corrective, that's where the opportunity lies. Not there. I'm not longing there. It's stupid for me to long there. Okay, that's where the opportunity lies. because each impulse has to correct itself to prepare for the next leg back to the upside. And if that structure is corrective and I place a long position over there, I'm preparing for a big move to the upside. Okay, because this could be your wave 1, your 2, the low is in. Yes, now I have confirmation that there's a chance that the low could be in. Okay, and then it blasts off in the third wave. So people that tell me I've missed it, for me, they don't know what they're talking about. People that tell me they've missed it, okay, like seriously, guys. Okay, if you in lean, not sure why my chart is taking so long to load up here. There we go. Let me just do this. Let's say we get a repeat of what's happened with the previous bull cycle. Okay, let's do a bars pattern. Since the low, let's just from there to the high. Okay, and we do this. Maybe we need to extend it a little bit because it's quite aggressive. Okay, right, maybe we're going to get aggressive. Let me just make the structure look more or less the same. Okay, like if you think you've missed it, well, there's still a lot to come if this is the low and the next bull market is starting. I don't have to FOMO into anything without confirmation. All right, I would love for that to happen. Make no mistake, guys, I would love for price to continue to the upside. I am positioned from a spot perspective. I told everyone I'm buying. I told them exactly where I bought. I am positioned. I want this to take place, but I need confirmation. And the structure has not given me the confirmation that I need to confirm that the low is in. Okay. Right, legends. So obviously we're going to talk about a lot inside of this live stream. And the first confirmation that I need is a 5-wave structure to the upside. At least that opens up the door that the low could be in. And for the moment, well, it is a 3-wave structure to the upside. I don't care how you count it, the W, X, Y, and ABC, it's a damn 3-wave structure. For now, this is a 3-wave structure to the upside. Okay, so let's get back here onto the 4-hour time frame. So something that I want to, while price is pushing it to the upside, it's above the high now again. Let's see if this short is going to play out. There's more interesting levels that I'm paying attention to. So I want to analyze this structure. Okay, let's start there. That's where I want to start, because now this is where it becomes interesting for me to look for some trades. And remember, as per the thumbnail, price has now given me a range. Finally, that's what I've been waiting for. Like I've said, while price was pushing up here and pushing up here, I told everyone there's not really much for me to do. I did attempt a couple of shorts in that range where price started consolidating successfully, and I didn't lose any cash. Okay, but now that the structure, the more information I have, the better trading decisions I can make. And last week I told everyone I need price, many times as price was exploding here to the upside. I did a live stream and I told everyone I need price to slow down. I need a consolidation area, because it's the consolidation area that gives me the information that I need to place a trade. And finally, during this entire move, now we got a consolidation over the weekend. Based on the consolidation over the weekend, I took a long. Again, I took a long over here somewhere. Okay, I'll share that on the smaller time frames. Already took a profits to the upside because that's what I like to do, and I'm leaving a runner. Okay, so what I want to analyze now, like I said, is this structure. Right, so what do we have? What do we have inside of this structure? For now, volume is still decreasing. Price is pushing up on decreasing volume, which shows me technically that the bulls are running out of steam, which means that the structure could be coming to an end soon. Okay, I now have a consolidation area, which gives me a little bit of a clue of what could potentially be playing out over here. Okay, so if I do the following, guys, and I know for those of you that hate Elliott wave theory, well, I love to consider Elliott wave theory, okay, because it's a really powerful tool if you know how to use it. So I can say, well, this is a wave 1, that's a wave 2, and there's a massive explosion here to the upside. Yeah, I can label that with high confidence that it's a wave 3. Okay. Now the question is this 4 and 5? You see, now this is where it becomes a little bit tricky. Is this 4 and 5 and it's going to come to an end and price is going to fall down? I don't know, because well, I don't know. But it is giving me a clue that, okay, it could be coming to an end soon. Because this could also be your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now that's your 5-wave structure inside of this wave, which means that price can push up here, reject, okay, create a wave 4 for this number 2 and go up again. And then it forms a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So unfortunately, as a technical analyst, I don't know if this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or whether this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know. But I have areas of interest where I can look for shorts. Okay. So obviously I've now attempted this little SFP from the high. But what makes the structure interesting is that volume is decreasing with every push here to the upside, okay? Which means that something could be coming to an end. Whether it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or whether it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I can long, I can short again. It gives me trading opportunities. I don't actually care which scenario is going to play out, but I have a roadmap of where I can look for longs and where I can look for shorts. Okay, so let me just do this one. Right. But what is interesting is this corrector, because, you know, guys, the power for me, for my trading strategies, is inside of the ranges. That's where the power for me lies. Because on the 15-minute time frame, I don't know which scenario is going to play out. Okay, but I know that it could be coming to an end. I have a high level of confidence that something could be coming to an end. Whether it takes the high, falls down and takes the high again, it looks like the structure is running out of steam and it needs to start correcting itself. So I become very interested in shorts. Okay, so I don't know if that's 4 and this is now 5 pushing up here. I don't know. Okay, but now I'm interested in shorts. Like this morning, guys, I can be a bull and a bear in the same day. This morning I was bullish. Now I'm getting bearish. Okay, the reason I was bearish or bullish this morning is because of this. This is why I was bullish this morning. 3-wave structure to the downside. Where's 4? Where's 5? There's no 4 and 5. If I want momentum to continue to the downside, it needs to give me a 5-wave structure. It didn't give me a 5-wave structure. So now I know, based on probabilities, because I see a 3-wave structure, I don't even need, guys, this is so important. You don't have to know how to count the structure from an Elliott wave perspective. Does it look like a 3-wave structure or does it look like a 5-wave structure? Because momentum usually continues in the direction of a 5-wave structure. 3-wave structures are corrective structures, which means if price is coming aggressively towards the upside and it gives you a 3-wave structure to the downside, it's most likely going to take the high again. High probability. Or it forms a larger corrective structure. And the probability is still high to take the high. So based on this 3-wave structure, and it's quite interesting because over the weekend I had a conversation with the moderators inside of our community. And the moderators, if you're listening, okay, you know, what did I say over the weekend is that yesterday I had a conversation, or Saturday night, I can't remember, sometime over the weekend, I had a conversation with the moderators and I told them it looks very corrective. And based on what I'm seeing at the moment, which was over the weekend, I told everyone I think there's a high chance to take out the high. And now that's what price did today. It took out the high again. Okay. Based on this structure. Okay. I know that Andy has a different count. I know that Joan has a different count. I have a different count, but it doesn't matter how you count the internal structures of this three-wave structure. I can see that it's a three-wave structure because there's no 4 and there's no 5. There's no 5-wave impulse to the downside. There's no diagonal to the downside. I'm missing this. I'm missing that. Somehow I'm missing another structure, which means that the probabilities will be high to take out the high. And this is why I took this long. Was it even, guys, I think it was even a little bit lower. Can't remember. Okay. So this is the count that I shared this morning inside of the community. Remember, okay, the community gets the alpha first. When I'm not on YouTube, I spend my time inside of the community. I know Andy is also spending his time today in the community, but I thought, hell, okay, let me jump in as well. Early this morning, when I saw the opportunity, I was like, I just have to show people what I see. It's up to you as a technical trader to make the decision whether you want to take the trade or not. I see a three-wave structure down. I'm very interested in longs. Okay. So this was the scenario that I shared this morning, and there was the trade that I highlighted. Okay. And for those of you that remember, here's the trends as well. This is basically what I shared this morning, and that's where I jumped into the trade. Okay. So from a simplicity perspective, without all of that, okay, I love me a D-line. I love a D-line and where price forms a bull flag. So I don't need to know Elliott wave theory to know that that's a great trade. Breaks out of the bull flag, comes back for a retest, and it continues to the upside. Great trade. I love these D-line breakouts. Okay, price is trading above the trend. It forms another trend. It breaks out over here, which gives me better risk management, because in the past, what I would have done is to say that, okay, I would have taken the trade. Okay, let's do this fresh over here. Guys, remember, I hammer on education, okay? I'm going to get to the levels to the upside. If price doesn't reject yet, it's now trading above the high, so there's a chance that I'm going to get stopped out. I did go in light with this trade. Right, so in the past, what I would have done is the following. I would have played the breakout. I would have targeted the next area of resistance to the upside, and I would have placed my stop below this low. And I have to target at least a 2 risk to reward. That's my minimum requirement. So price has to theoretically get here for me to take the trade. Unless I break one of my rules and I say, okay, then I'm going in with less capital. So that is typically how I would have placed this trade. But then I took it a step further to say that, okay, I'm not going to worry about that breakout. Price needs to give me a retest. So you can either play that retest over there, which means you have a better entry, or you wait for consolidation, and that's basically what I traded. So I added another trend because price is grinding here against this little pivot. Now it gives me a better risk to reward because I know once it breaks this trend, that becomes my stop loss. Now the risk to reward is absolutely amazing. Target the high, whatever, guys. I mean, 2 to 1 risk to reward is basically already down here. That's my minimum requirement for this trade. It's basically taking the high of the structure, and I mean, guys, for me that risk to reward already made sense. Okay, obviously the price is now pushed where it is right now. Okay, it's already a 6 risk to reward. If this trade turns into a losing trade, I don't know what you're doing wrong. Okay, this trade should not be a losing trade. For those of you that did take this trade in the community this morning, okay, it should not turn into a losing trade. Please, guys, have your stop loss in place. Hell, I've even now protected my position. I have no stop loss and I'm taking profits here to the upside. Okay, first profit taking area for me based on this trade was the daily level. I took some profits there. I shared it inside of the community, and I told everyone I'm also going to take profits at the 0.9 Fibonacci because I know that this scenario could play out. Okay, which I'm going to discuss now. 0.9, I took a little bit more profits because it did reject. It fell to the downside, became scary. And I was like, oh God, okay, because this ABC flat can play out. And this is why it's important for me as a technical trader to take profits at key areas of what I'm seeing here on the chart. Okay, so but based on the D-line strategy, you play the breakout, you take profits at the highs. It should be a successful trade. Right. Now, if price does not reject here and it pushes higher, well, you can see where I'm paying attention. There's another 2 daily levels to the upside where I can pay attention to. When I switch on my weekly levels, there's a weekly naked point of control. When I switch on my point of controls, no point of controls in that zone, but you can see there's some levels, there's resistance to the upside. So if price continues to push up here, this is the zone where I am very interested in shorts, because I can execute my swing failure strategy with precision. And if I'm wrong and price continues, I could most probably be stopped out with a small loss or with profits. Okay, I'm acknowledging the fact that price is pushing up on decreasing volume. Okay, price is pushing up on decreasing volume. Most of the volume lies in this move. So this could be the most aggressive move that has come to an end. It's starting to correct, and as long as it's pushing up, it could reject at any moment. So shorts now become even more interesting even than last week, now that the structure is showing its colors. Okay, and that's why patience, guys, as per the intro song, patience is so key. I can short responsibly, get stopped out with profits, and then I wait for the structure to make sense. So the weekend, the structure gave me a clue. It corrected. The structure corrected in a 3-wave structure. Okay, let me take this out the way. Right. So guys, I just want to make sure that I have my alarms. I want to just make sure that I have my alarms set here. Okay, I want an alarm at that weekly level. I want an alarm at the daily level. So if price continues to push up, it's the most interesting zone that I'm interested in. So now I need to build a little bit of confluence. If I go back to the 4-hour time frame, okay, you can see I have those levels to the upside. And also when I do a fib from the high to the low of the structure, it's the 0.9, 0.88 weekly naked point of control, daily level. So it does look like an interesting shorting zone for me. Okay, but it's not, for me, based on my trading strategies, it's still not a zone where I will limit order the shit out of this trade, hoping for price to reject. Because hoping for price to reject got a lot of people in trouble last week. Okay, if you limit ordered this, because I know there's some people that did it. They limit ordered this trade. They did not put a stop loss. Okay, and then price did this. I don't want to be on the wrong side of the market if price decides, well, it's going to continue here to the upside. It can still create an extended 5th wave, guys, because I think that there's a high probability, and I cannot say the words for certain, guaranteed. I cannot use those words. Okay, there's a high chance that the biggest move already happened, which was last week. Highest amount of volume. Price is pushing up on decreasing volume. Worst case scenario for whoever is in shorts and don't have stop losses, that price can still create an extended 5th wave to the upside, because remember, this wave, according to Elliott wave rules, is not allowed to be the shortest. So the 5th wave can really still push up, and it will still be, even if it does that, it won't be the shortest wave, while the 3rd wave won't be the shortest. So that's why I still need to trade this with great risk management. I cannot limit order, for me, based on my trading style, unless you have a clear invalidation. By all means, knock your socks off, manage your position, and have a clear invalidation. Okay, where are you going to put your stop loss? That's usually the biggest question for me. If you are limit ordering this trade, where do you put your stop loss? Maybe you make a trading decision, you say you're going to put your stop above the high. You're going to go in with 3% maximum of your trading portfolio, or you're going to risk 3% for this trade, by all means. But, you know, don't cry when that happens. Manage your position, because if you manage your position size during this trade, you will not cry when you get stopped out. You will look for another trading opportunity. Okay. It's guys, maximum is 3% that I risk per trade, and it's not often that I do that. Most often it's less than 1%, 1%, 2%. 3% is when I see a high probability setup. Okay. And then very seldom I will risk 5%. That happens like once every 3 months. When I see the perfect planets aligning, great risk management, I will go in a little bit heavier, but I don't even want to talk about it. That's how infrequently I do that. Max I'll ever risk is 3%. Okay. Risk. Okay. I will risk 3% of my portfolio. Right. Oh, I'm about to get stopped out of this trade. It looks like it wants to push here to the upside. It was worth an attempt. It was a valid SFP. The question I always ask myself is, now that I got stopped out, will you take this trade again? Yes, it was a valid SFP. I went in lighter because I have more interesting levels to the upside. Okay, so that's now one that I'm going to record. So after last week, after all the green from last week, okay, I'm now going to record my first loss. And you will see that the loss is still smaller than all the wins that I've made. Bound to get stopped out with a loss, guys. Right. Now, I want to just quickly switch on those levels again, because this might happen live on stream. I think the most interesting level, that's the closest, is the 0.886 and the weekly level. That's a little bit above. Where's that daily? That's very similar. Okay, so as price is pushing here to the upside, this zone, okay, just to keep it simple, this zone for me is an interesting shorting zone, because this could be your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then it starts falling down. Okay, so definitely interesting zone over here. Also, based on the smaller time frame analysis, let's go to the 15-minute. Something that I'm still very aware of is that this structure can still form a larger three-wave structure, and then move back up. But it's still an interesting shorting zone. So it doesn't matter if this is a B, and a C to the downside, or whether this is the fifth wave finishing up over here and then it falls to the downside. It provides me with the same opportunity, the short that I'm looking for. Okay, if this is forming an ABC here to the upside, this is basically what I'm looking at. Okay. Sorry guys, I know the chart looks a bit messy. I'm just trying to build confluence and show you what I mean over here. This could now be the B wave extending here to the upside, finishing up a C wave. Okay, because you need a three-wave structure in a B. You have a three-wave structure in an A. You can form a three-wave structure in a B. Invalidation for a B flat is $82,000. That's the invalidation. If this is a B, it should ideally not tap the 1.618. It most often rejects inside of this zone. Okay, because I don't know if this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or if this is a ABC to form a B and then it goes down for C. But it provides the same shorting opportunity, the same directional bias. Okay, so as price is now approaching the zone, I'm interested in shorts. Call me crazy, because I did take the long. Guys, you know, it's not just that I'm interested in shorts. I took the long this morning. I took the long. Now that price has moved, now I'm looking for shorts. It's as simple as that. And I want to take advantage of this move. That's all I want to take advantage of. I will take profits on the way down, leave a runner. Because I don't know, this could be a fifth wave that's completing in the zone, and then it gets a deeper correction to the downside. I don't know, and that's why I like to leave runners for my trades. Okay. Because I don't know if this is an A, B, and now it's finishing up the C wave here to the upside to complete the B wave. Okay. So I got stopped out of this short attempt. Price is slowing down, volume is slowing down, so naturally I'm interested in shorts. But I still have to execute this with great risk management. What I could also do is, if it's an ABC here to the upside, what I could do is, let me do the magnet. From the low to the high to the low at 1.618. Oh, I love the 1.618. Okay, if price continues to squeeze up a little bit more, it would be nice for me. I like that level. I really like, you have the 1.618, which is a C wave target, third wave. Even if this is a 1, 2, 3, it's a third wave target, and it's a C wave target. Okay, I don't know if it's going to do that. But then there's a higher probability, if it does do that, that short is going to be even more interesting for me personally, if that had to happen. Okay, and just to put it into context, because if it forms a 5 wave move to the upside, it means that the correction could be a little bit deeper. Just to give you guys an idea, if price does this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, if it does that, then I know that, okay, this could be your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And price gives me a deeper correction before it continues. So the 5 wave structure is a juicier, you guys get what I'm trying to say over here. It's a juicier short. If price continues up here and rejects and claims the low, the long becomes very interesting because it's a 3 wave structure to the upside. Which means it's most probably going to claim the lows and push back up again. Okay, right, I hope you guys do enjoy the analysis that I provide over here. Remember to smash up that like button if you do, and obviously I will keep the community up to date. If I'm not going to jump into the short now, I will, well, if I'm not sleeping, I'm definitely going to try and catch this short. Okay, price is now reacting here at the 0.88 Fibonacci. I know it looks a bit messy, guys, but let's just keep it simple over there, right? It looks a bit messy, but you can see where price is getting the reaction at the moment, 0.886, which is that macro fib level. So that is typically, most probably an SFP trade that I would have attempted. I just want to see what CVD is doing. I want to see how much liquidity. There's still a bunch of liquidity here to the upside. Okay, CVD is falling down, which shows me that the bulls might not be done with a push here to the upside. Okay, it is a nice little rejection zone, I must say. This is usually where I enter, and if I'm wrong, I still make money. That's usually what happens with these little SFPs. Okay, but I can still see that there's a bunch of liquidity here to the upside. So maybe, if price is going to reject a little bit deeper, it would make sense to grab all of this liquidity. 80,600, 80,600, it's basically this zone over here. Okay, it's basically this zone over here to wipe out or to grab all of that liquidity here to the upside. Okay, remember, if I miss the short, let's say price rejects here at the 0.8 and it falls, for me it is what it is. I will always find another way to get into the trade. Okay, if price, because I know my style of trading, if price, let's say price does this and it starts to fall, I'm going to be very interested in the long. okay? Because it's a 3-wave up. It's not really how the structure needs to end. So I'm going to be very interested in a long, because I know that there will be a chance to claim that high again. If price rejects like this and goes up again, I'm definitely going to be ready for that short. But I might not be interested in this long as much, because it could go deeper. Okay, I hope that makes sense, because a B wave is not allowed to be a 5-wave structure. Okay, so now let me go through some more comments, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, I'm getting carried away here with the technical analysis. Let me hear what you guys are saying. Spot volume looks so different. Come on, 80k. It's almost at 8. It's almost at 80k, right? What could possibly happen if the resistance break above 83k? Okay, and that's what I'm saying, guys. It could form that extension, that 5th wave extension here to the upside. A common target for a 5th wave, or let me put it this way: common targets for 5th waves is, let me clean up the mess. Okay, common target for 5th wave. Let's say this is 3 over here. This is 4. Okay, it's been a massive 3rd wave here to the upside, and it's now completing the 5th wave over here somewhere. Okay, common targets is I take a fib from the high of 3 to the low of 4. Okay, swing it to the upside, basically reverse it to the upside, and most common target for a 5th wave is inside this box. That's the most common target for a 5th wave. I have seen them smack the 1.618 and even the 2 extension. So these are additional levels that I can pay attention to execute my swing failure strategy. What I like to do is look at other areas of confluence. Now that I know that these are targets for a 5th wave to the upside, that's where I basically switch on my levels. Well, where's the levels that make sense? Okay, if price does not reject here and I get stopped out, okay, it's most probably going to go to the next level where I will be paying attention. Because remember, if this is a 3 and this is a 4 and is now pushing up for 5th wave, I want to see a 5-wave move. Okay, so it's going to be interesting if it forms that structure. Right. Patient pays. Yes, Maria. Patient definitely pays. It's just wait. I mean, I took my first loss now in a week. I took my first loss today, but I did go in light. Okay, I did not go in heavy into this position. I went a little bit heavier, but it's not on my Bluffin account. On the Bluffin account, it's on a different account. I went a little bit heavier with a long from this morning because I know I'm trading with the trend. Okay, when I take shorts, I'm very defensive. Devil, it's been really fun being bullish all the way up. I've been so bullish, and that's what helped me not to trade these days and leave my runners to pay me. Absolutely. Maria, I see you changed your profile picture. You've got your ski gear on over there, skiing there in the North Pole or South Pole. Can't remember if it's the North or South Pole. So calm and happy, now waiting for my short. Like smashed. Fear and greed at 73. Holy crap. Fear and greed at 73. Let's go check that out. Remember, guys, if you want access to these tools, these are all the tools that I use. Still in greed. I mean, we literally went from extreme fear into greed in less than a week. It's been absolutely insane. Can you guys... Oh, it's behind me. But can you guys see that? Okay. Literally went from fear into greed in less than a week. Absolutely insane. Right. Just want to make sure that I'm where I should be. So I'm not blocking the price action and the price numbers. There we go. Hey, if you have 0.5 BTC but want to get to 2 BTC, what would be your advice to get the rest in? Oh, so you mean you've deployed 0.5, but you want to get your position to 2 BTC. That's basically what I discussed in the beginning of the live stream. Okay. So if you, because it sounds like you're leaning in the camp of the low is in. Okay, if you are in the camp that the low is in, unfortunately there's no confirmation yet for me, based on how I trade. And just looking at the structure. Sorry guys, for some reason it's taking a little bit longer to load up. This structure, okay, is still a three-wave structure. So me as a technical analyst, if I had to deploy, I can only share with you guys how I would approach the markets. I have to see that. I need to see a 5-wave structure to the upside. And then I need to see, and this is where the work is, this is going to be work. The correction is going to be where I have to work my ass off and analyze my ass off. Because once that high is made, what is forming to the downside? If I can with a high probability say that it's a corrective structure, this is where my opportunity will be to add. So if I had to add, okay, and I can with high confidence say that this is a corrective structure, overlapping corrective structure, that is the opportunity. That's the opportunity. That is where I do not add. Yeah. Massive move with high volume, but it's still a three-wave structure, which means as long as it remains a three-wave structure, it doesn't matter how high it goes. If it does not do that, it can take the low. So this is not a place where me personally want to add anything. Okay, you should be, well, ideally you position from down, from further down low, because guys, remember, and I've said this during many live streams, I bought spot. Yeah, this is where I bought. I bought there. And then some people asked me, Devil, why didn't you buy here? And I said, because I already bought here, prices at the same level. I want a discount. If I'm going to add more, I want a discount. I'm not going to buy twice at the same price. No, it doesn't make sense for me. I've already deployed over here. Price was at the same range. I would have deployed more if price fell down. Then I would have deployed more. Okay. So I bought spot over there. Extreme fear. It was the lowest fear that I've seen in a very long time. Extreme fear was over here. So I want, guys, you don't understand. I want price to continue to the upside. I'm positioned. Okay. I would love a discount if price can come down again. Would love a discount so I can add a little bit more with the profits that I've made here with my day trading strategies. But I cannot say whether the low is in or not. I don't know if the low is in. It needs to show me. Once it shows me, I will make a trading decision to add. Okay, but I must say, guys, I'm not really interested from a spot perspective. That will most probably be a swing trade on my trading account. I will only become interested from a spot perspective if price takes the low again. That's my rule. From a long-term spot perspective, I need price to take the low before I enter again, or before I add. If price builds a 5-wave structure up, a 3-wave corrective structure, that will become a swing trade for me, not really a spot position. Okay, and the reason I say that the correction is going to be the hardest work for me to analyze is because there is this scenario that I'm very aware of. Okay, just want to paint this out for everyone. This could be your wave A. It forms a 3-wave structure in a wave B, and it goes down in a C. I'm very aware of this scenario. So even if price forms a 5-wave structure I cannot with certainty long like a crazy person over here. I have to analyze the corrective structure to make sure that with high probability it is corrective, so that I can long the next move to the upside and it doesn't do this. Because this could be your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 A wave. A, B, C. Guess what? The C wave inside of the B has to be a 5-wave structure. It can go down and complete a bigger C to the downside. A, B, C, A, B, C inside of your B wave. That is why the correction needs to be analyzed carefully. Because I don't want to be that person that says, oh, 5-wave structure up. I am selling my kidneys, my house, my wife, okay, staying in my parents' garden in a tent. I'm buying everything over here, and then prices, yeah. Okay, I don't want to, it's not how I want to approach this. Okay. Right. There's another interesting scenario that I have shared that I'm keeping an eye on. I'm not sure if I will find it now. Let me just clean up the kitchen over here. Remember, guys, I'm still going to be here for a little bit longer. I might take a break in 25 minutes and then I'll come back. Okay. Just to stretch my legs. But there's another interesting scenario. Let me see if I can find it. Large ABC. Oof, I have so many scenarios that I need to go and clean up. Here we go. No, it's not that one. I can actually delete that one. I don't need it. It's this one. Let me update it. Price should not take the high. For this scenario to remain valid, price should not take the high. Okay, this is an interesting scenario where the bear market continues. Okay, this scenario will be invalid if price takes the high of A. So also 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in an A wave. Price formed a 3-wave structure in an A. It's building a triangle. It forms a 3-wave structure in a B, a 3-wave structure in a C, a 3-wave structure in a D. It goes up in a last 3-wave structure to complete E. It builds the triangle. Remember the rules of the triangle. C is not allowed to take the high of A. D is not allowed to take the low of B. E is not allowed to take the high of C. So it needs to squeeze. It needs to build a triangle. Very early to call for the scenario, I know, but it is something that I'm keeping in mind, is to say that, guys, you know, people that say that the low is in, well, price could still range a little bit longer, okay? And this for the moment looks like a beautiful 3-wave structure, which means it can be a C wave here to the upside, okay? In a triangle, the C wave is not a 5-wave structure. It needs to be a 3-wave structure. Okay, so as long as A is not taken, the scenario is on the table. Remember, guys, based on current price action, I am still in the camp of the bear market is not done. The structure needs to show me that it's done, and it's not doing that yet. This can still happen. That can still happen. If price takes the high of A, looks like it wants to reject. I see prices now again trading below the low. Sorry guys, these alarms that are going off, by the way, is that I'll show you now on the smaller time frames. Okay, so I can with high confidence, not guarantees, I can with high confidence say, based on the current structure that is formed over here, I think there's still a high chance to take the lows. Unless, like I've just repeated many times, it does that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then I will delete this count. I will delete it, take it off, never talk about it again because it will be invalidated. But then it becomes dangerous still because there's a good technical analyst will always have a bullish and a bearish case scenario. Then this one becomes active. And then this will be my primary scenario. 5-wave structure in a A, 3-wave structure in a B, okay, I need to analyze the corrective structure so the price doesn't get there. For the people that believe that the low is in, but can you see that I cannot be in the camp of the low is in? No, the bear market continues. I cannot be in any of those two camps. I have to make a decision based on what I'm seeing at the moment from a structural perspective. From a structural perspective, the bulls are not out of the woods just as yet. Okay, because I know I got a lot of messages last week of people saying, but it's been so aggressive to the upside. Surely the bull market is going to continue. Well, the structure hasn't shown me that it wants to continue. Yes, it's aggressive to the upside, but I know in a A, B, C here to the upside to complete a B wave, your C wave can be very aggressive. They are aggressive. They are very aggressive and they scare the shit out of people. And they also, when they move to the upside like they did here, they also create a lot of FOMO. And when they move to the downside, they scare the crap out of everyone. C waves are extremely aggressive. Or they can be. So, for those of you that sent me some hate comments last week when I discussed this scenario, guys, it's just technical analysis. I want, you don't understand, guys. I am positioned. I want price to continue, but I need confirmation. The structure needs to give me confirmation because every single pullback is met with a 3-wave up. 3-wave up. 3-wave up. Well, since this drop, what do you see now? I see a 3-wave up. It doesn't matter how aggressive that move is. It's still a 3-wave structure. So the bulls, yeah, guys, when this structure unfolded, they needed to do that. I was waiting for that. I was waiting for that. I was waiting for that so that I can long the retracement. Or at least look for a long based on the correction. I wanted to long the retracement. I wanted to long the retracement. That didn't happen. That didn't happen. That didn't happen. And guess what? Is it going to happen or not? Time will tell. If that happens, well, then I can analyze that so that I can long. But for the moment, I'm interested in shorts. Okay, let's get back here onto the 15-minute. What is price doing? Is it rejecting? It's back below the highs. What is CVD? Let's look at CVD. Guys, if you want access to these tools, okay, link down in the description. Trading tools. CVD, by the way, has been enhanced. It now has alerts. Still a bunch of liquidity to the upside. I want to specifically just go to the smaller time frames, see what's happening here. So what I can do, just to show an example. So let's say I want to trade a long here to the upside, okay? And I'm waiting for bullish divergence to give me confirmation that it can take that high again. For example, I can go to alerts, set new alert, okay? Click on this pivot. And now I can say, how many confirmations do you want? Because I've got 6 lines over here. I can just say, well, how many confirmations do you want to be alerted? And I can, for example, say, okay, I want 2 confirmations or 3 confirmations. So as soon as it says 3 out of 5, I will get an alert. And then I can go and do other things. I can go to gym. I can go wash the dishes, play with the dog, walk on the grass. And as soon as as soon as there's 3 confirmations, I'll get alerted and I can come back to the chart and pay attention. So this is now what the development team has developed for myself and Andy. Nice little alerts. I always wanted alerts. I never, and we've asked the team to do that. So at the moment, there are 2 confirmations, which means based on the bullish divergence that I see at the moment, there's still a chance to take that high. Okay. Unless it gets overwritten by bearish divergence, which I don't see at the moment. There's no bearish divergence with price falling here to the downside. Okay. And right, so if you want access to this amazing tool, the alerts is absolutely a game changer for me, especially on larger structure, guys. Okay, for me, so let's say, for example, let's see if it played out. This morning, when I saw this to the upside, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I saw the 5-wave structure and I was like, damn son, this looks juicy. And then price chopped. You see, this is exactly what I'm looking for on the higher time frame. Look at the beautiful 5-wave structure to the upside. Sorry guys, let me just put my drawing tool on here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Beautiful 5-wave structure. Okay. Now I need to analyze the correction. Does it look like a 5-wave structure to the downside? No, it's overlappy, it's messy. You can see all the overlap. It's just overlapping each other. Impulses, ideally the 4th wave do not overlap. So when I saw the mess to the downside, I was like, hang on. Now this looks juicy to take the high again. So this is where I'm interested in a long. So what I do is I can then say, okay, I want to be alerted. Okay, it's not going to do it now, guys, because the price action already played out. But I could say, okay, I take the alerts against this pivot. And as price chops here to the downside, I want to be alerted as soon as bullish CVD forms against these two pivots. Now, as soon as bullish CVD starts forming, I'm very interested in longs. Price broke the trend. Price pushed up, fell down. More bullish, local bullish CVD started to form. Okay, and then boom, it went to the high, pushed up, took the high. So that is one scenario where you could have used it. Okay, just want to do here quickly. Doesn't want to do it against past price action. Okay. There we go. There were 3 confirmations. 3 confirmations that high is going to get taken again. I want to see against this pivot and that pivot. There was 0 confirmations there. Okay. But I mean 3 confirmations against those 2 pivots. That's where I longed. And price pushed up aggressively here to the upside. So I use CVD as part of my trading strategy. Okay. Yeah, again, guys, 3-wave structure increases the probabilities to take the high. Do you guys see why that 3-wave structure is so dangerous on the higher time frame? When there's a 3-wave structure, it has increased probabilities to take the high. When you have a 3-wave structure to the upside, it has an increased probability to take the low. Not a guarantee, guys. Probability. Higher probability. Okay. Now I want to see if there are bullish CVD forming. Yeah, 2 out of 5 confirmations. Let's see. Sometimes CVD do get invalidated because there's no indicator that is 100% accurate. CVD is around 77% accurate at the moment, based on the settings that I have. Okay, you can see here. Can you guys see this in the corner? 77% accurate. It actually shows you how accurate it is based on current price action, and this number will change. Okay, if there's more invalidations, it will drop to 70. But you can see any indicator over 70% is a great indicator for me to include as part of my trading strategy. But price is swinging the high. It is still swinging the high. Let's see. Okay, if I miss the short, remember what I said, legends. If I miss the short, let's say it continues, invalidates the bullish CVD, it continues, I'm going to be very interested in that long, because this is a 3-wave structure up. It doesn't matter how deep it goes to the downside, there's an increased probability to take that high again. Okay, so I'm not too worried if I miss the short. Not too worried. I'm going to be very interested in the long. But if price starts correcting here and it pushes up again and it gets to my area where I want to short from, now that's a different story. Okay. So I don't mind missing this short. I really don't mind. Because it could be this. Could be this. Okay. But I mean, still a valid SFP from the high. It did chop me out of the trade. Because if I did short, I know myself now, if I did short that, I could have covered my fees with that little drop already. If it drops a little bit further, I could have covered my stop loss. Okay, so I mean, it just chopped me out of my position, and now it's actually getting the move that I wanted. But guys, I do not FOMO into a trade. If I missed it, I missed it. That's how that's how I roll. There's always another opportunity for me to get into a trade, right? Let me know in the comments by typing 1 if you did, and maybe by typing 2 if you did not, from the community members who got into this long. Sorry, not that one. Where did I save you? Local. Who got into this long? 1, yes. 2, no. For the community members. Who got into this long that I shared this morning? Did you take profits? Okay. Andy also provided a lot of analysis. I shared with the legends the tool, but this was 8:45 this morning. I shared that. This could, I went into a lot of detail. I counted the structure in detail. Okay, usually I just draw a 3-wave line and I say that looks like a 3-wave structure and it looks like 5 waves up. There's a high chance it's going to go up. Okay, it has a little bullish pennant. Well, you as a technical trader need to make your own trading decision. I took the trade. I didn't tell people that I took the trade, but I showed it. Yeah, yes, the plan, guys. I don't always have to say I am entering now, because what I've also noticed is when I tell people I am taking a trade, I'm shorting now, I'm longing now, people FOMO. For some reason, some people just FOMO into the trade with no plan. And then I see in the comment section, where's your stop loss? Where are you planning to take profits? And I'm just like, why did you enter the trade if you have no plan? Why did you enter the trade? I'm just sharing with you how I approach the markets. So today I was a little bit more sneaky, I must say. I posted this and I took the trade, and I didn't say I took the trade. But there's the set. I still shared the analysis. Interesting zone. Okay, I'm very interested. What did I say? Scenario I'm looking at. This entire range does look very corrective. Because I don't want people to FOMO into trades that they haven't planned properly. Okay. But I mean, there's the stop loss. There's the entry, and then profit taking on the way up. But then I did say, be very careful of this. Be very careful of this. This is another that I'm sharing now. Because I wanted to go higher, but this is definitely a scenario that could play out. And this is why profit taking is so important to me. Okay. And then that was just a sneaky little, I know that the markets sometimes throw you a curveball. Okay, it could reject that, the daily come down, and then wave 2 moves over there. I know the market loves to do that, but I will still re-enter that trade if that had to happen. There was a nice little consolidation area to provide the support. That obviously did not play out. Okay. And right, shit. Guys, there's a lot going on in the community, also inside of the chat section. And some beautiful stories there's one particular story that I want to share with everyone inside of this live stream here in the money shots, which I'll do after my break. Okay, and then now I went live. Okay, but you can see Andy's also providing some updates and scenarios as the day unfolds. Okay, so if you do want to be part of the community, you can see myself and Andy are very active inside of the community. You can send me the word access to my Telegram, and I'll send you the instructions on how you can join. also get access to the tools that I've just shared here, CVD, for example. Okay. Some people will ask me, how does it work? Well, if you do trade with one of my affiliates, don't you hate it to pay the exchange fees and you get nothing in the return? Well. When you sign up with one of my affiliates, you get the best deals that these exchanges has to offer. Like Bluffin, you get 30% discount on your trading fees for a week. Okay, 2bit has VIP 1 status for a month. When you sign off, you get discount on your trading fees, so you actually pay less. Okay, and you hold $500 in your account. Then when you trade like you usually do, your trading fees goes towards paying for these tools. How amazing is that? So you're not wasting trading fees. It gives you something in return. Just trade like you usually do. I'm not encouraging anyone to be Mr. Cowboy over here and try and trade more. No, I'm just saying trade like you usually do. You can get your trading fees to work for you instead of just paying trading fees and you don't get anything in return. Right, legends, I'm going to take a quick 5-minute break. I need to use the bathroom and I need to do something else quickly. I'm still going to be here for a little bit. So I'm just going to leave you with a little timer for 5 minutes, leave you with some music, and then I'll be back. Hopefully in this live stream, okay, I can take that short that I'm looking for. Okay, it would be great for the short to play out. Or for price to push up a little bit higher, because there's a very interesting short that I am looking at that I have already shared. Okay, so now I know this looks like an absolute mess, but I'm going to leave this for new people joining, popping in and out, just to confuse them a little bit. Right, I will see everyone in 5 minutes. Remember to smash up that like button, keep the conversation going. I'll leave the conversation here, and I'll see you in 5 minutes. I am going to introduce Mr. Wick soon. For those of you that did seem, there we go. Just a little teaser. Let's see if he... There we go. Oh, for some reason he is... Let me do this. Oh, for some reason I can't get him to work. Anyways, you will see Mr. Week soon, and you will entertain people here on the 5-minute breaks. Okay. Mr. Week is in motion. He's being brought to life. What is happening here in the comments section? Music is very good. Yes, all those exchange rewards are bollocks. Well, if you're trading on an exchange, you are paying fees, right? So yeah, at least your fees can do some work for you, right? So, Mr. Uncle Cyril, welcome to the live stream. Treffer, I had to stop counting the money in my couch to vibe to the song. Uncle Cyril, pump it. I'm so ready. Not 80k yet. Yeah, I think what's going to be interesting is, must I jump here to the smaller time frames? I want to just see the structures to the downside. Okay. It's always very interesting for me, the structures to the downside. Look at this. 3-wave structure. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. I can't count that as a 5-wave structure because there's overlap. So it has to be a 3-wave structure down. It continues up. It takes the high. For the moment, this is a 3-wave down. So there's a chance it's going to take the high. Okay. Unless it forms multiple 1-2s. I know there are other scenarios where it forms nested 1-2s or diagonals to the downside, but for the moment, guys, this is a 3-wave structure, and it's overlapping. So let's see. Unless this is a 1-2, it forms another 1-2. Okay, we'll see how this unfolds. It's 1-minute stuff, guys. A lot of noise inside of the 1-minute time frame. Okay, I'm still waiting for those levels to the upside. Okay, that weekly level. Okay, so basically what I wanted to do is just take everyone through my count over here, just from an education perspective. For the Elliott wave enthusiast, it's going to take less than a minute. Okay, I can see a 3-wave structure in a W. Okay, A, B, wait, let me just see, why did I use that pivot? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah, A, B, C, W, okay, 3-wave structure. Then you have an A, a B, and a C. This is how I counted it, because I see some people got very different counts. Okay, but it doesn't matter. The end result is exactly the same. I do not care how people count the internal structures. The end result is a 3-wave structure. Whether this is an A, B, C, whether this is an A, B, C, whether this is a W, X, Y, it doesn't matter how you count the internal structure. Okay. The end result is the same. It's a 3-wave structure, which means the probabilities are high to take the high, which price did. So I don't really get obsessed about how people count the internal structures, because I know Andy, for example, has a different count. Joan has a slightly different count. I have this count, and I'm just showing you guys what I saw. A 3-wave structure in a W, a 3-wave structure in a... Okay, now focus on W, and now I'm trying to get to X. Okay, a X has to be a 3-wave structure or a complex WXY inside of an X. So I can count a 3-wave structure in a W, a 3-wave structure in an X, and then an A, B, C, D, E in a triangle in Y, which gives me X, and then a 3-wave structure in a Y, A, B, C. That's how I basically counted it. And then based on my count, the long was very interesting. Okay. Guys, but it's not just the count. It wasn't just the Elliott wave count that gave me the confidence to enter this trade. Because if I remove the Elliott wave count, I can see a 3-wave structure. It's breaking trend. It's forming that bullish pennant that I love to see on the D-line strategy. It breaks out, it retests, and it continues. I mean, you don't have to know Elliott wave theory to trade this. And right, price has swinged the high here for the moment. If it rejects, I will be interested in the long. Okay, I must say, from a swing perspective, from an SFP perspective, it's not great for price to trade below the high. That is usually a bearish sign. So it is a valid swing failure. Price grabbed the liquidity above and now it's trading below. How often do I speak about it? You know exactly where to put the stop loss. You enter, okay, and you're targeting lower prices. I do not mind missing this short. Okay, because I want one of my areas of confluence to get hit. Proper resistance to the upside. And there's also bullish CVD building. There's a little bit of bearish CVD, but it's only one confirmation, but you have 4 confirmations that high is going to be taken. So I'm not trading with probabilities. It feels like I'm trading against probabilities here at the moment. So if it falls, I'm happy to say that I missed it. Happy. Okay, and then I'll look for another trade, because I already have a successful trade for today. A nice little day trade of today, which I need to update. It's a little bit more than that now. Okay, because it's still running here to the upside. So I have my successful day trade for today. Rudy actually made, Rudy, I don't know if you'll mind me sharing this with the community. Rudy, inside of our community, sent me a very interesting message. And he said, "Dear Walt, you have a trading rule that states that if you take 2 losses in a day, you're not allowed to trade for the rest of the day. How about reversing that rule from a bullish perspective as well? When you've won 2 trades, you should also stop trading. Because you could overtrade and lose your profits again." Because, and I agree with Rudy, I said, I'm definitely going to implement that rule in my trading strategy. If I win 2 trades in a day, then my rule will be that I need to stop trading. Because the psychology behind it is so powerful, because when you win many trades in a row, especially on the same day, it can create overconfidence, and then you over leverage into positions as well, and then you could lose all the profits that you've made for the day. So I think it's a great rule to implement as part of my trading strategy. When I've made 2 wins for the day, then I'm done. It also prevents overtrading, and it prevents that little greed monster from okay, I'm gonna milk it now more. So really great suggestion. I love that message that you sent me. Uncle Devil is printing your trading journal goals right there. But in the 1 hour can count finish impulse 1 2 3 4 5. Yeah, the problem is this structure. It's not a 5-wave structure, guys. I'm obsessed about structures. Okay, this structure is a 3-wave structure. It's not a 5-wave structure. So for the impulse, I know exactly what you're referring to. So here on the 4-hour time frame, you might be saying, okay, let me just clean up the kitchen here quickly. You have a 1 2 3 4 5. So it looks like a 5-wave structure on the higher time frames, but that little structure that I've shown you now is a 3-wave structure. It has to be a 5-wave structure for this structure to come to an end. Okay, that has to be, this is what I mean, guys. That last push to the upside needs to be a 5-wave structure. So this needs to be a 1 2 3 4 5. That is an interesting short. For the moment, this little structure is a 3-wave structure, which means if it does reject, that becomes an interesting long for me, because it needs to form 5 waves to finish. for me. Okay. I do like that volume is decreasing. I do like that volume is decreasing. It's showing me that the bulls are running out of steam. Okay, people shouting for higher, they're going to get trapped. Right. Can you see what I mean here on the 5-minute time frame? You have a 3-wave structure down, price takes the high. Now you have a 3-wave structure up, which means price can take the low and move back up. It needs to end on a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If it does that, it's going to be interesting for the short. Okay, because the ABC scenario is still in play. And I think this is a very juicy scenario that I'm currently watching, is this one. Because it's still a 3-wave structure. Invalidation for this scenario is $82,000, 11. And it might be different depending on which exchange you use to do your analysis on. So can you guys see that I don't mind missing this short? Because there's another longing opportunity. But if the structure does this and it goes up to my area of interest, then I'm going to be upset if I miss the short. And if it happens while I'm sleeping, well, then I'll look for another trade. Okay, my area of interest is the 1.382, $81,000. That's basically my area of interest. It would be a nice little trade if price rejects here. It's a nice trade, guys. It really is a nice trade, but I can be very picky about what I want to trade. I wanted to trade this long, this morning. It looked great because of the 3-wave down, breaking the trend, bullish pennant, bullish CVD against those 2 pivots. So can you guys see, I don't have to take every trade. I take a trade that makes sense for me. And at the moment, what price is doing here doesn't make sense for me, so I don't have to trade it. I've already gotten stopped out once. I don't want to risk it again. Okay. So I will trade something that makes sense for me. At the moment, this does not make sense. So I don't have to trade it. I don't have to trade every opportunity. If it falls down here and creates a C wave, I don't have to trade it. But I'm going to be very interested in the long. Okay. So if price does reject here, where am I looking for the long? Well, if I go to, I think there's a 2-hour order block if I'm not mistaken. If I look at this little structure, oh yeah, beautiful 2-hour order block. Now I need to build support for in case price falls to the downside. There's a 2-hour order block. Let me make it green because it's support and give it a name. 2-hour order block. There we go. Let's put it inside. There we go. Right, so back onto the 1 hour or the 15-minute time frame. If price falls to the downside from here, I'm going to be interested in longs. 2-hour order block, maybe a little SFP from that low. I'll see, or an SFP from that low. So if I miss this SFP, let's say price does that and it gets above over here, I can long here and have a wider stop loss, but I can just use less capital. So I can SFP either pivot. Okay, but this is support. So if price falls down here, I will be more interested in the long than the short, but it needs to make sense. Also, it needs to make sense for me. If it doesn't make sense, I don't take the trade. Okay, and that's why I always tell the community, take the trade that makes sense to you. Don't be that person that just, oh God, I missed the trade, I missed everything, now you FOMO into something, okay? That's how you get wrecked, guys. Take the trade that makes sense for you, okay? With this entire move here to the upside, I told everyone when it started, can you guys remember the live stream? When this started here to the upside, I said there's nothing for me to do. It's nothing for me to do. I can't FOMO into that. I have to wait for price to slow down. Okay. I think it was in this range. If I'm not mistaken, it was here. Let's just check it out. I do keep a record of all my trades. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I attempted some shorts because there was a range. This range made sense to me, and I traded it very successfully. None of them played out, but I traded it very successfully with profits. Short, 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 short. 4 trades. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 trades. All 4 of them with profits. Those were the 4 trades I took. Nice profits, little bit of, I call that a break even, little bit more, and then the next day I took another short. Where was that trade? The next day. Oh, I don't have it here, guys. I need to go and include it. I took a short from somewhere. I think it was the, oh, I remember that trade now. It was the 0.61, 1.618. It was the 1.618. Anyways, I will go look for it. I know I shared it in the community, the 1.618 rejection. I think it was this one, price fell down. I think it was this one. Yeah. Anyways, I need to go and include that. In light of transparency, I need to go and include that trade. Right. So maybe it pushes up a little bit higher over here. But can you guys see, I think the point that I was trying to make is that when a range forms, it gives me the information that I need to trade as a day trader. Because now I can see what's happening there, 3-wave structure, WXY, ABC. I can do some counts. I can have a trend. I can look at CVD. I have information to make a trading decision. With this, there's not a lot of information to make a trading decision on that. This guard candle here to the upside. Okay, but now that price has given me a range, it gave me another opportunity to trade. And remember, guys, I share this inside of the community. Lots of education inside of the community. If you want to be part of the community, you can always just send me the word access and I'll send you the instructions on how you can be part of the community. Right, now I want to go back here on the 15-minute time frame. I also want to just read everyone a little bit of a message. For the community members, you've most probably seen the message, but I want to share it with people here on the YouTube live stream that's not in the community, because I'm sure a lot of people can relate to this. Okay, I might not go through all of it. So inside of our community under money shots, okay, let's go to money shots. As you guys can see, good long devil, someone took the long as well. Okay, but as you guys can see, people share their money shots. People also share their losses. Okay, it's not always just green things over here. Sometimes I see some red stuff where people are sharing their losses as well. Holy shit, 1200%. Well done, mate. Let me share some love over here. I didn't see that. Right, but you can see Maria is also very active inside of here. Okay, but this is the message that I just quickly wanted to share with everyone, because I think a lot of people can relate. And this person made a decent amount of cash, but it wasn't always like this. Okay, so Mr. I did ask this person if I can use his message. Okay, just to make sure that I'm not stepping on anyone's toes. Okay, what a great story. PS, are you going to mind if I share this inside of my stream later? And he said, please feel free to share it. I believe it's important to share everyone's story, because many people may be going through a similar situation. When I saw the stories and progress of the other people, it motivated me to keep on going. I believe the same can happen for others who are following along. Right, guys, and the reason I want to share this message is, and this is one of many of these stories that has been shared in our community the last week. Okay, there's been many wonderful, great stories. Okay, and it's also because of what happened last week. You know, I felt like I was celebrating my wins. Andy was celebrating his win, and then a lot of people were on the wrong side of the market last week. Okay. This may end up being quite long. Yes, back in 2024, when I first started getting into futures market, I had already lost 3,000 trading without a plan and without any real understanding of what I was actually doing. I would open high leverage positions without even setting a stop loss. I was completely blinded by the potential profits. Okay, always just focusing on money the whole time. And of course, I ended up losing a lot of money because of it. $3,000 might not sound like a lot to most people, but it's basically equivalent to a Brazilian like $30,000 spending power. Okay, I spent months feeling frustrated and angry with the market as a whole. In 2025, I decided to give it another chance. I ended up losing another 1,500. All of these losses happened during the major crashes in November, February, and I also blew my account 3 times after the latest major crash in June. By that point, I had started watching more of Andy and Devil's live streams. Even though I was still heavily in the negative and earning very little from work, I decided to give it one last chance. So I joined the community to learn. Guys, and this is what I always say, this is not a signals channel. If you want to learn to fish properly, okay, I think this is a great community. If you want signals, go somewhere else. Yes, some people do see what I sometimes provide as signals. I can't control that. If you want to enter trades blindly because I'm saying that I'm entering a trade or a long, because I do share when I enter trades as well. Okay, but it's focused on the educational side. Why am I entering the trade? Where is my stop loss? Where do I plan to take profits? How do I manage my risk? I joined in on June 29th, and I'm still on the 2-month free plan. I have to say the knowledge shared within this community has helped me evolve and learn how to manage my capital in a much efficient, rational way. On top of that, I have learned a lot about the markets in general, planning, preparation for both scenarios, always bullish and bearish case scenario, and their probabilities, following my plan and controlling my emotions. During this latest major rally, more than 20%, I entered a long trade at 62,752 on 2 accounts. On both accounts, I followed my plan and closed 75% of the positions. So it's also great to see that some people did actually make money with a move here to the upside. Because I remembered what Devil always recommends during the live streams. Trade a fraction of the position open, and then that massive breakout happened while my position was still open, so the gains kept increasing. That's why it's so important to leave runners for your trades. However, the detail that impressed me the most was I didn't FOMO into the trade. I didn't panic trying to catch the perfect top for the short. And none of that happened, thanks to the lessons I learned and watching the live streams. Okay, and now I remain patient and wait for better opportunities to short or long. And the fact is that I have never joined this community. The fact is that if I never joined this community and been willing to learn, I certainly would have made the same mistakes again and lost significant amounts of capital during this rally as well. I'm truly grateful for the knowledge within the community, both members, Andy, Devold. You have given me hope and motivation to keep learning and gradually grow my capital. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. And so I just wanted to share, this is typically what happens in the community. People really, they come here and they're like, oh shit, okay, so I need to take this seriously. I need to have a plan. I need to plan my trades. I need to have a reason why I'm entering. Where's my stop loss? Leave runners. Okay, so you guys can see that we do hammer on education. Although we provide analysis, like Andy provided the scenario, for example, I provided some scenarios, okay, it's to show people how we analyze, what do we look for. For example, okay, I wasn't just looking for this long trade based on the D-line strategy. I also showed people the count from an Elliott wave perspective. And then when I combine everything, it gives me the trading opportunity. So, you know, it's not so some people will look at this as a signal. They'll say, oh, that's where Devil's planning to long, that's where he's planning to put his stop loss, and that's where he's planning to take profit. If you want to take it as a signal, that's your prerogative. Okay, but I share this from an education perspective. The question should be, oh, now I see how he counted the structure. I see the D-line strategy, the bullish pennant. The trade makes sense. I understand why he put his stop loss over there. I understand why he wants to take profits there to the upside. That should be the lesson for these little updates that I post. If you want to see it as signals, that's completely up to you, but it's not the intention behind them. Okay. So just quickly wanted to share that. Right. Let's see if price can continue to push here to the upside. Let me go through some comments. Let me know what you thought about that. But I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that story. I can relate, because that's also how I started out. Lost a lot of money, blew up accounts, didn't follow my plan, FOMO'd into trades, over leveraged, revenge traded when I lost. Okay, it just sounds so familiar. High Devil is double bottom from form at USDT 1 hour time frame. Yeah, guys, I must say I can go and look at USDT dominance, okay, but I don't need to analyze these charts to make a trading decision on Bitcoin. I don't have to. I used to, but I don't have to anymore. I made a lot of work for myself, guys. Okay, I know some people get frustrated. Why doesn't Devold look at the total 1, total 2, total 3? Why doesn't Devold look at USDT dominance? Why doesn't Devold look at all the other S&P 500 and NASDAQ? Why doesn't he look at those things? Because I don't have to look at any of those charts to make a trading decision on Bitcoin. I follow my plan on Bitcoin. I trade Bitcoin. The other charts is going to follow. Oh, you know, I took a long on USDT dominance. It showed weakness. Oh, Devold is taking a short on USDT dominance, is forming a double bottom, so it could reverse. I don't care what the other charts are doing, but I don't have to make more work for myself to trade the chart in front of me. That's a very important lesson that I learned from a very successful trader. Okay. Yeah, I mean, he thought he was, I think he thought I was crazy when I showed him all the work that I put in to take one trade on Bitcoin. Look at this, look at that, look at this, that. And but by 4 or 5 hours later, when I've done all my analysis, then I'm like, okay, now I can make a trading decision. I made so much work for myself, it's crazy. Love the channel, making me want to get back into trading. Thank you, Alex the legend. Yeah, there's maybe something else that I want to share with everyone as well. I'm not saying for you, Alex, specifically, but just something in general that I would like to share. What a legend. Massive W. I know, Cyril, I've heard about and I've seen people, I can't remember, there's a specific lady that trades the W patterns. I've seen her trade the W patterns. Yeah, it's nothing wrong with that. Everyone uses a strategy that makes sense for them. Okay, legend. Will you consider a double top? Bullish CVD plays out and rejects again at the anchored VWAP. Oh, that anchored VWAP. Let me just quickly go here to the 12 hour. Let's switch on that anchored VWAP. Oh, here we go. Maybe I do have it. There we go. Let's go back here. I do have it. Anchored VWAP is slightly lower. Well, yeah, if you switch time frames, unless it has a setting. I thought maybe it has a setting so it keeps it the same regardless of the time frame you jump into. But yeah, on Binance, the chart that I analyze, it's above the anchored VWAP. Maybe the BTC pair that you use to do your analysis, maybe it's tapping it ever so slightly. I don't know, guys. I just trade the local structures. I'm a day trader. I trade the local structures. Okay. Actually retested it perfectly as support, and now it's above at the moment. Oh no, that's not what I meant with a W at all. Oh, Uncle Cyril. Okay, but anyways, I do know people that trade W patterns. Okay, W was in win for the message, the legend you shared. Oh, okay, cool. Strange, my anchored VWAP is still above. Maybe I just pulled it wrong. Okay, maybe I can go and make sure that I pulled mine right. But I know they are different depending on which exchange you use to do your analysis. Okay, so but let me go and double check, and I will use a magnet to make sure that it's snapped on exactly where it needs to be. Okay, so I zoom into this price action, and then I like to switch my magnet on, and then at that top is where I place my VWAP, and then you can see that price is above it. Yeah, so my anchored VWAP is exactly where it needs to be. But I have seen when you start jumping around between time frames, that anchored VWAP also jumps around for some reason. And I thought there was a setting to keep it where it needs to be, but no, there isn't. Because you can see here on the 1 hour time frame, okay? And then when I jump, let's say to the 5 hour time frame, it's all the way down here. So it does stuff around, right? You actually need to stay on the higher time frames for it to be accurate. But I mean, the initial rejection was beautiful. It did reject. Beautiful rejection. It came down. It retested it. It looked like price wanted to fall down, but it didn't create a 4 and a 5. It created a 3-wave structure down. So I knew that there was an increased probability to take that high, and that's what I told. I had a conversation, guys, and I know there's a lot of new people joining as well. I had a conversation with the moderators during the weekend. Can't remember on exactly what day. And I told the moderators that based on the structure that is forming here, I think there's a higher chance to take the high. Again, because it looks very corrective. This morning when I woke up and I analyzed the structure and price was breaking out over here, I was like, okay, it looks like it wants to continue and take out the high, which price now did. See, yeah, guys, this is just way too bullish for me to short. This is very, very bullish. 4 confirmations, 3 confirmations. So I can't short this, guys, even if it falls. It's just way too bullish for me to short. There's only 1 confirmation from a bearish perspective. Okay, I don't need the lines to see the CVD, but it is a useful thing to have if you're struggling to read CVD. It does it for you. Okay, but I mean, there's a lot of confirmations between that pivot and that pivot that the high is going to get claimed. Between that pivot and that pivot, okay, the high already, so this one played out. It's got the tick, fine. Okay, so it's just way too bullish for me to attempt a short here. It looks bearish from a price action perspective. Price is not breaking the high. It's chopping here at the high. Okay, and if it doesn't make sense to me, I'm not going to trade it. It's as simple as that. I mean, this is... Guys, I know this is 1 minute stuff. This is a 3-wave structure. And now I can see a 3-wave up as well. Eesh. So the range continues. Maybe it takes out that high. That will be expanding structure. Anyways, guys, I'm not going to do Elliott wave counts here on the 1 minute time frame. I'm just going to frustrate myself because there's a lot of noise on the smaller time frames. And also, I don't have to force a trade. I will trade something that makes sense to me. I already had a nice little long here to the upside. Beautiful long. Beautiful long here to the upside that I took, that I shared this morning in the community. Trade that I took. It's in my trading journal. I need to capture that loss, by the way, guys. I need to capture the loss. 24 August. BTC. D-line. That was a SFB from the high. Short. Okay, I will go get the details from the exchange when I'm done here with the live stream. And I'll put in all the numbers, the losses, and everything like that. Okay, but I need to go and capture that loss. Closed. And I'll just say, yeah, that was a loss, so I don't forget. I need to go and capture that one. But it's been a good streak so far, guys. The trades from since I started this journal, basically when I decided to go back until the 1st of July. From the 1st of July, I took a little bit of a break. You can see that I took a trade on the 1st and then on the 13th again because I was on a break. But from the 1st of July up until now, the market has been good. All I need is volatility. Okay, my account is nicely in profits at the moment. And I also like to say I'm only one trade away from messing everything up, because that's usually how it happens, right? You have 3, 4, 5 months just absolutely fantastic. You're working your ass off. You're applying your rules. You're trading like a pro. You're executing with rhythm. And then that one day arrives where you don't follow your rules. You add to position. You FOMO into a trade. And just like that, you can knock out all the profits that you've built up over months and months and months. And that's the mentality that I go in with every single trade. Dierwold, you are only one trade away from fucking this up. Don't fuck up. That's how I trade. Don't FOMO. No, don't FOMO. Don't even think about it. No, but I want to. You have that, the bad side and the good side whispering in your ear. No, man, FOMO, it's going to go up. Just enter. No, forget about it. Just for today, just leave the stop loss. And that is where you just wipe out your account. Right, legends. I will go back here into the structure again just to do a little bit of a recap, but let me spend a little bit more time here inside of the comment section. Deal, do you think ETH can go to previous low? Yeah, guys, I was waiting for that ETH long that just never came. Okay, and I told everyone I'm happy to miss the long if it doesn't give me what I want to see. But anyway, a nice little push here from ETH. But I mean, I was positioned in Bitcoin. Can go to previous low at 1,500. It's definitely a possibility. It depends on what Bitcoin is going to do. Remember, guys, on the higher time, I feel like I'm repeating myself because maybe you guys didn't join at the beginning of the live stream. I went through the three-wave structure to the upside on the higher time frame. And as long as the structure to the upside is a three-wave structure, Bitcoin can go and take the $57,000 low. Chances are, if Bitcoin is going to take the $57,000 low, Ethereum is going to take that as well. Okay, because, I mean, you know what happens when Bitcoin takes a fart to the downside. The altcoins makes more farts to the downside, worse than Bitcoin. Is it possible that price is busy making a fourth wave and then last push up? Yes. I will do a little, Mohammed, I will do a recap now here on the larger time frame. I'll zoom out into the 4-hour time frame and I'll do a little bit of a recap. Angel, thanks for the membership. May I know who gave it? Oh, was there someone generous with memberships over here? Oh, yeah, here's where everyone shared who took the trade. 1, no, 1, no, 1. You see, there was a couple of people in the community that took this long. This was basically where I asked everyone who took that long. Okay, remember, guys, when I'm not on YouTube, I'm inside of the community. Okay. And Andy also spending some time in the community today, providing some analysis. If you remember, as always, if you want to be part of the community or you want to know how to join our community, if you want to be surrounded by like-minded people, send me the word access to my Telegram and I'll send you the instructions on how you can join. I am very passionate about the community. I'm not sure if you guys have seen. I am very active in the community. I am not a YouTube influencer that sells the community and you never see me. Okay, I'm very active inside of the community. I read people's comments. Okay, I interact with my community members. I share analysis. I share with people when I enter trades. I share with people how I manage my trades. Andy is also very active. Dylan, one of our coaches, is an altcoin trader, very active. Okay, using a very simple trading strategy, also sharing how he trades the markets. Rudy, we've got Joy, in a very experienced Elliott wave counter. We've got Joan, Oh, Joan, very experienced Elliott wave counter. We've got Joy, also a very successful trader. I know Joy shared with me over the weekend. He made a lot of money, okay, following the rules and discipline that we teach inside of our community. So, I mean, guys, yes, I know I always harp about the community, but I'm very passionate about our community, and I spend a lot of time inside of the community. You also get direct access to myself and Annie if you want to ask questions. You are surrounded by like-minded people. So if you want to be part of an amazing community and you want to, you're taking this game seriously, you can send me the word access to my Telegram and I'll send you the instructions on how you can join. Right. Well, just for today, leave yeah. Ooh. If that day was last week, oh my God, that's a great insight. Always thanks Dewald. Absolute pleasure, man. Can you explain what the D line is? Yes, the D line strategy is basically a breakout strategy, guys. Let me clean this up. Okay, that's the D line strategy. Let me take that one out. It's basically a breakout strategy, but I only use one line to trade it. That is my default strategy. So the community, when I was still in Discord, when we still had a Discord community before we had the Telegram community, the people called it or dubbed it the default strategy. And then some community members said, no, it's too long. Let's just call it the D-line strategy. So the people named the strategy after me, because this was my first successful trading strategy, the D-line strategy. This was the strategy that turned me profitable during the bear market. Believe it or not, this is where I turned profitable, using this D-line strategy, the default breakout strategy. Let's just wait. This is where I turned profitable. This is where I turned profitable. Somewhere around there is where I turned profitable. During a bear market, can you believe it? And I remember I still inverted the chart. And I played longs, but shorting on the exchange, using the D-line strategy. Okay, and you can see basically the D-line strategy. If it's on the daily time frame, but there was a lot of smaller structures that I played as well. But you can see the D-line strategy is basically you have a trend and you play the breakout, or in this case breakdown, because I've inverted the chart. There was a breakout. There was a breakout. Okay. So it's basically a breakout strategy, and then there are rules around the strategy. What you need to look out for, how to prevent fake outs. Okay, when do I take the trade? When do I not take the trade on the D-line strategy? And then obviously over the years, and so this was the first trading strategy that I mastered, because I believe that you need to master a trading strategy before you move on to a new trading strategy. This was the first one that I mastered. Then I went on to swing failure patterns. And by far, swing failure patterns is my favorite because it gives me the best risk management. So yeah, to answer your question, the D-line strategy is a breakout strategy. And this is also how I took this trade this morning. So I entered over there. I switch it on. I do actually have it here in my positions, my exact entry. There's my entry. Right over there. Right over there. Sorry, let me just undo that because I moved it. There's my entry. Because I added, based on experience, I've added another trend. So I was waiting for the breakout. Beautiful, came back for the retest, and then it moved. So yeah, my first successful trading strategy that turned me profitable. And then obviously, as I've matured and grown over the years, I've learned swing failure patterns, I've learned Elliott wave theory. So now I combine it to give me a better probability. So based on Elliott wave theory, I knew that there was a high chance to break up, based on my counts here to the downside. Impulse of structure up, correction, continuation. Yeah, I mean, guys, if price is going to fall down here, like I said, I'm happy to miss the short. It is a valid swing failure. Definitely, it's a valid swing failure. Price is failing to break the high. That's a SFP. It's failing to break the high. It grabbed the liquidity above. So it could fall down. Could. Okay. If it continues, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I will be interested in the short because that makes more sense to me. If price continues to fall, I will be looking for a long at the 2-hour order block. So someone asked the question, David, can this be a larger correction in a fourth wave? And this is now what I want to point out. Yes, it can. So if I clean up the kitchen and I go to the 4-hour time frame, what a beautiful rejection on the 4-hour. Okay. Yeah, I'll see if it comes back for a retest. If it... Okay, oh, that's what I want to do. Let's remove this anchored VWAP. Right, so based on this structure that is formed here, okay, I'm now interested in what happened from here. So this structure. Oops. Mouse doesn't want to play ball. I'm interested in this structure over here. So when I started the live stream, I basically told everyone, I don't know if this is the count. A 1, a 2, this is 3, 4, and 5. I cannot label this a 5 wave yet because it's a 3-wave structure. Up, 1, 2, 3. It's a 3-wave structure up. It needs to form a 4 and a 5 before I can place my 5 there. So I don't know if it's this or price is still going to do this. And this is just a larger A that forms the B that's rejecting at the moment, and it comes down for a C. So it forms a larger 3-wave structure for the 4, then goes back up for 5. I don't know what it's going to do, but I know where I want to short and I know where I want to long. But the structure also needs to make sense to me because for the moment this move is a 3-wave structure and I cannot move my 5 there. Another count is to say that, well, maybe, okay, 3 is here, because I can also see the internal counts here. You have a 1, 2, this could be your 3, okay, it forms a 4 and a 5. So I don't know what it's going to do. Maybe this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, if it forms a 5-wave structure here to the upside. But then this structure still needs that. So it can be a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5. But I'm interested in shorts. So it doesn't really matter how I count the structure. Shorts are very interesting for me above the highs. But for me to put 5 there, I can't put 5 there yet, because on the 15-minute time frame, this structure is a 3-wave structure. This is a 3-wave structure. For me to place 5 here, it has to be a 5-wave structure. So if it does this and it goes up again, then I have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then I can place the 5 there. This is why I'm not really interested in the short. It's a 3-wave structure. So the long for me, if price falls down, is more interesting because I know it has a high chance to take that high again. So I'm looking for the bigger trade. Yes, I might miss out on this entire move, but this for me didn't make sense. Bullish CVD, 3-wave structure. It's not. It keeps on chopping the high. So not a sexy trade. Not a trade that I like to trade. So that's basically the recap. Okay. Because remember, guys, this structure, although I'm looking at this, let's go to the 30-minute. Although I'm looking at this, 1, 2, okay, inside of your third wave it could still not be done. You have a 1 2 1 2, you have at least a double 1 2 in that zone. I don't know if it finished here to the upside, or if this, what is the right word to use, if the basically the nested 1 2's inside of the third wave, because this could be 1 2 1 2 3 4 5 4 5, and now it still needs to do that 4 5. I don't know how crazy it's going to be, but it gives me a roadmap of what could happen. It gives me a roadmap where I can look for shorts. But remember, guys, I will keep the community up to date, because I need price action to give me the information that I need to identify the shorting and longing opportunities. This morning, one was identified successfully with great risk management. Okay. So I can tell you now that if price rejects from where it is now, it is bearish, it's below the high, then I'm looking at this scenario. So let's say price rejects here, doesn't take the high again. This for me is not an easy short because of how choppy it is, and I can decide whether I want to take the trade or not. But if price does fall down here, then I'm looking for a long. 2-hour order block, it's a level of support, so I can trade the next wave to the upside. Okay, remember, you have a 3-wave down, price takes the high. You have a 3-wave up, price can take the high. So that's how, so you guys can see I don't actually care about how many 4-5s forms here to the upside. Every time price action develops, it gives me the information that I need to make a trading decision. And I can trade the 4s down, and I can trade the 5s up. Up and down, that's my day trades. Up and down, until one of those trades turns into one of these. Until one of them turns into these. Because I always leave runners for my trades. And then a day trade, all of the sardines turns into a massive swing trade. Like what happened here. Okay, but I have taken most of the profits for this long year to the upside. Got stopped out of the short. You guys know the story, okay? I was hedged in this position. I took a beautiful short right over there. Took a short. Price came down, took... Where did I take that long? It was in this range. Took the long, okay? Took the long, which I shared inside of the community. And then I remember as price was coming down here, I told everyone, do you guys remember the live stream? As price was chopping down here, I told everyone I'm moving my stop loss to below the low. Because cheeky Bitcoin can make a higher low and continue up, and I don't want to get stopped out of this position. That's what do you guys remember the live stream that I did? And I said I'm moving my stop back below the low because I don't want to get wicked out of the position like that. Let's say I did that. You get wicked out of the position and price leaves without you. So I told everyone, okay, and this short, I added to the position over there. Because I said, guys, this is going to go one or two ways, okay? It's either going to do that. That's why I wanted to move my stop loss below the low, which it did, or it's going to do that. And that's why I wanted to maximize my profits from this short that I took over here. I did not expect the move to be so aggressive. I mean, hell no. I didn't expect it to be so aggressive. But, okay, stopped me out of my short and it moved because I remember I told everyone in the live stream, guys, and I'm not that type of person that's going to go pull up the live stream and replay what I said. I remember what I said, okay? And for those of you that's been watching me, you also remember what I said. I told everyone that I think that if this high gets claimed, this is why I moved my short entry to over here, which was still protected by a stop loss. I said, I think if this high is going to get claimed, that high is going to get claimed. So I want to maximize my profits to the downside. If this high does not get claimed, I think it's going to fall aggressively to the downside. So I want to maximize my short. And if this high gets claimed, it's most likely going to take that high. So it makes sense for me to move my short entry to over there. Well. I didn't expect it to be so aggressive, but it played out. Wow. Here to the upside. Guys, yeah, and that's basically what I shared. All of these trades were shared inside of the community. Remember, if you want to be part of the community, if you're new here to the channel, you want to be part of the community, because that's where I spend most of my time. I'm very active inside of the community. You can send me the word access to my Telegram, and I'll send you the instructions on how you can join. Man, I really wanted to catch the short, but let's see how this unfolds. Okay, it can also form all way, yeah, ending diagonal. I don't think I'm going to talk about an ending diagonal, because that wave A looks like a 5-wave structure. I think it's going to be difficult to count a 3-wave structure in that wave A. So let me rather not talk about that scenario. Okay, can you count this? Can you count this because I'm waiting on confirmation, because I'm confident as long as range high front run? Can you count this? Count what? I'm not sure what you mean. Can you count this? Basin conference soon. I remember you talked about finishing something in a 3-wave structure. Doesn't make sense as we took the all-time high. Yes, but the all-time high is different. Okay. You remember, what are your thoughts now? So KGS, you make a very valid point. Okay. Most of the time, like 90 out of 100 times, that's what I look for. You know why the all-time high threw me off guard? Guys, you know, Mr. Justin makes a very valid point. Do you see the all-time high 3-wave structure? And look at where price got to. You know what made that confusing? Is because price ended in an ending diagonal. And I only saw that afterwards. Do you see this structure here to the upside? So let's do this. You have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think that's the count. Let me just do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's do that to sub count. Minor, and let's do this. It will make sense to you now. Okay. So the reason, let me just take the line out just to clean it up. The reason, Justin, because it's a very good question. I would say 90% out of 100 times, 90% out of 100%, 3-wave structures usually is corrective structures, and you expect that high to be claimed again. And then price did that. And I must say it confused me. And then price just continued down. Okay. And I remember when price was chopping, I was like, guys, I think there's an increased probability to take that high because it's a 3-wave up. But I didn't see this count yet. I only saw it too late. But an ending diagonal in a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 has to be a 3-wave structure, because an ending diagonal has to have 3-wave structures inside of it. And I must say, this structure also threw me off because it looked so much like an impulse. But then you can say 3-wave structure up, 3-wave structure down, 3-wave structure up, 3-wave structure down, 3-wave structure up, ending diagonal, price came to an end. So that one, yes, threw me off. But price ended in an ending diagonal to finish the 5th wave. But now there's a difference between that one and this, because I cannot count an ending diagonal inside of this move, with high probability at least. So there is a difference, okay, for me, unless you can count an ending diagonal. So if I go into the 15-minute time frame, Remember what I've just shown you. I need to see that now inside of this structure. I'll just wait for price to load up here. Let me put the music back on. It's too aggressive here to the upside. 1, 2, 1, 2. Let's just give it a double 1, 2, and then you have 3, 4, 5, 4, 5. Maybe that's where it completed. But anyways, I cannot see an ending diagonal. It's not as clear as a higher time frame. Inside of this structure, it's just a rampage to the upside. I cannot do an ending diagonal anywhere in here because it looks expanding. Can you see it looks expanding? I don't see an ending diagonal inside of this structure. So if I could see an ending diagonal in this structure, I would have said, okay, maybe that's the high and it's going to do what it did at the all-time highs and it's going to fall down. But I don't see an ending diagonal. Where? I don't see it. There's no ending. I can't see the ending diagonal with high probability. Okay. It's not as clear as the daily time frame where the structure makes sense and it's contracting towards each other. Hope that makes sense, Justin. So for me, there's a difference. This time for me, there's a difference. By all means, if price does fall down, then I'll execute a different trading strategy. I'll look for longs, guys. Remember, there's still a lot of levels, right? We have formed some fresh levels. Okay. So without going into Elliott wave theory, I'm looking for a short. I can use these levels as swing failure lines. If price falls down, I can look for a long. Order block. Okay, maybe it's going to be a long like that and it continues, but I can take advantage of that move. Maybe it is a three-wave corrective structure and it takes the high again. I don't know what it's going to do, but I do know that if I clean up the chart and I go to the 1 hour time frame and I look at this structure. Okay, let's look at this one. Let's say this is a 1, a 2. It's finishing up 3 over here. It goes down on a 4 and it takes the high again. I know where's the invalidation for that little bad boy. I know where's that invalidation. If I take a fib from the low to the high of the structure, maybe it still pushes up. Okay, but let's just use that pivot for now because that's the only price action I have. A very interesting longing opportunity for me is going to be because the 1.618 is an invalidation for wave 4. So as long as price does not claim the invalidation, it can still take the high. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it becomes an interesting long. And then when I have an interesting long zone, I look for other areas of confluence. So can you see, it doesn't matter for me whether I'm right or wrong. If I'm wrong, I look for a new trading opportunity. Okay, but yeah, I get your point, Justin. Okay, that's basically what I wanted to say. I get your point. Three-wave structure up that ended the bull cycle. But that was an ending diagonal. This does not look like an ending diagonal. It looks like an impulse, a clean impulse here to the upside. For me, at least, based on my analysis. Thanks for the education, Devil. It makes complete sense to me now. Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, those ending diagonals can really throw you off. And I think that the one thing that threw me most, Justin, I did consider the ending diagonal, but you know what threw me off? And I mean, guys, the market is here to surprise us. And the market will give you sometimes things that doesn't make sense. And sometimes it just is what it is. You know what threw me off about this ending diagonal? Because I did think about it. this ending diagonal, you know what threw me off the most was this structure. This structure threw me off the most about an ending diagonal. And this is why I think I didn't even consider it with high probability. Because it looked like a 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, 5. It looked like an impulsive structure, and an ending diagonal is not allowed to have an impulsive structure. This is why I didn't even consider it with high probability. And then guess what happened? It played out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ending diagonal. The rule for ending diagonal in Elliott wave theory, all structures has to be 3-wave structures. And that little fifth wave ended on a 3-wave structure. And I remember I was doing analysis here, and I said, guys, I think it's going to take that high again because it's a 3-wave structure up. It needs to take the high. But because that structure threw me off. Guys, and I'm not perfect. Okay, I'm not perfect at all. But it's also about all the other, I also have to consider when I get it wrong, how many times did I get it right? Because I can count on a few occasions that I did get it wrong, and I'm still going to get it wrong in the future. But I can count on many, 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 many occasions where I got it right. I got it right over here. I told everyone a high probability to take out the high. I got it right over here, high probability to take out the high based on the corrections to the downside. Okay. I call high probability price is going to fall down after this WXY to the upside. High probability price is going to fall down after this 3-wave structure to the upside. So there's been many, many more times where I got it right. But there has been times where I got it wrong. But then it's my risk management that protects me when I get it wrong. Because I'm not going to be that crazy person. Guys, and I didn't do it, right? I don't want to be a crazy person that sees the 3-wave structure up and just adds to a position until you get liquidated, thinking that high must be claimed. No, I still traded very responsibly during that range. I did not blow up my account. I did not liquidate my account. And although I got that wrong, I'm still making money. I'm still staying profitable because it's my risk management that protects me for when I get it wrong. Because I know that I'm still going to get it wrong. This morning, I got it right. And if I did get it wrong this morning, guess what? Okay, this morning I got this right. But I can tell you now, if I got it wrong, I would have been stopped out. I would not add to the position. I would not be stupid about being overconfident in my analysis. Because not so long ago, I saw a 5-wave structure. Yes, I'm trying to think, where was that? That was at the weekly level. Do you guys remember this weekly level? That I did not short. This weekly level. Do you guys, was it this one? Do you guys remember this weekly level that I did not short? I was in a long live stream. I did not short that weekly level. I took the long, SFP long from the point of control. So I took the long, rode it all the way up. I did the live stream and I told everyone I'm very interested in the short. And I did not take the short. Do you remember why I didn't take the short? And it turned out to be a nice short. But on the smaller time frames, I think it was the 1 minute. Fuck guys, it was the 1 minute time frame. Okay, I don't think we're going to see it here on the 5 minute. But on the 1 minute time frame, maybe we'll see some of it, yes. On the 1 minute time frame, I saw a 3-wave structure up. 1, 2, 3. And I told everyone I think that high is going to be claimed again. That's why I didn't want to take the short. But look at what happened. Price formed a corrective structure down and took the high. So it did play out. It just took a long time to take out the high again, because that was a 3-wave structure up. Price did take out the high. So there's many times where the 3-wave structures do play out. But I mean, in hindsight, I could have taken the short with great risk management and made money to the downside. But because I saw the three-wave structure up, I didn't want to take the short. But I took the long. I took that long. Do you guys remember? I took that long. So I don't mind missing a trade because there's another trade around the corner. I took that long. I shared it inside of the community. Naked point of control, SFP. This looked corrective. I couldn't count an impulse here to the downside. And I mean, that was, in hindsight, that was the best last long opportunity to take, which I highlighted. There was a naked point of control. Do you guys remember that? Okay, I did share it in the community. Also, beautiful D-line breakout. So if you missed that, you could have gotten in over there. Just with a wider stop loss, managing position size. Three-way structure down, increased probabilities to take the high. And I mean, I didn't expect this aggressive move to the upside, but yeah, the rest is history, right? Okay, now, okay, that's what I'm saying, guys. I don't mind if I miss this short. I really don't mind. If I miss this short and price falls down, there's going to be another trade, which I'm going to get into. But I don't like to trade something that doesn't make sense to me. Now, this structure for me, where it's rejected, how it rejected, it doesn't make sense for me. There's bullish CVD. I don't like it. Okay, so, you know, lesson for me also. A lesson is, I did, by the way, that weekly level that I didn't short. The lesson for me, when I wrote in my journal, when I didn't take the trade, I actually made a note in my journal and I said, how could I have traded this better if I did trade it? And the note that I wrote to myself is, you could have executed the trade with great risk management. Okay, regardless of if it's a three-wave structure, just be more aggressive with profit taking. So in hindsight, I should have taken that trade because it was great risk management and I could have executed my trading strategy successfully. Okay. But for me, this one is a bit too choppy. I don't like this one. But I can also, as a technical trader, I can decide whether I want to take a trade or not because I know there's another one around the corner. Remember, guys, if you want to be part of our community, you can send me the word access to my Telegram and I'll send you the instructions on how you can join. I am very active inside of the community and I might miss this short. I might miss the short, but I'm very interested in a long again. Okay, because remember, this can be your A, this can be your B. It goes down in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to our order block. It does look juicy. Okay. I mean, it's going to be so sneaky if it forms a WXY. But I mean, I'm just trying to keep it simple here for everyone. It's going to be very sneaky because Mr. Jonas must be probably already looking at the structure going, dear Walt, what if it forms a WXY? Okay, what if it does not do this? What if it doesn't do this? Price does not take this low. What if it doesn't do that? Well, then I have to come to the conclusion it's not going to be an easy one to trade. Okay, what if that's a W? This is an X. And it forms a Y that doesn't take the low. It's not going to be an easy one to trade. But I mean, there should be a retest of the trend then, okay? Maybe it does this. It retests the trend and it continues up. But then Y needs to be a three-wave structure. Y needs to be an A, B, C. Because, guys, did you know, interesting fact, did you know that you get corrective structures that does not take the low? But it ends on a higher low and it continues, which is part of the corrective structure. There's actually a great example. Here on the 5-minute time frame, look at this. I saw that this morning. Where did I save that? Dum-dum-dum. Sorry guys, I just need to... Here we go. Here's a perfect example. Look at this. Look at wave 3. You have a 1, 2, A, B, C in a wave 2. Nice little 3-wave corrective structure. You have to push to the upside to create wave 3. And then look at this. Look at where the correction ended. It didn't end there, the lowest point. It ended, for me, over there, where you formed a 3-wave structure in a W, an X, and an A, B, C in a Y to complete your 4th wave over there. And then it pushed up in a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-wave structure to complete wave 5. Wave 5. So you can have a corrective structure where you have the lowest point, you're expecting that low to get taken again, and it doesn't. And that's your sneaky WXY corrective structures. Ah, man, missed the short. It is what it is. But I will be ready for the next trading opportunity. Okay, and I will obviously update the community if I do take a new trade, if I do see a new opportunity. Because remember, at the end of the day, I'm a day trader. Always be another trade around the corner. Dearwold, could you draw us, please? How would you be looking this big move wave structure finished and then 3-wave structure moved down? Okay, I think I've already gone through that. Maybe you just need to rewind a little bit. The whole 5th wave consists of diagonal. Yes. The whole 5th wave consists of diagonal. Yeah, that's another option. I took that long but closed it 70k. Would you expect such a straight pump? Yeah, guys, I mean, for those of you that did take the long, for me, that should not be a losing trade. It really should, you know, and I've shared inside of the community, I'm taking profits at these levels. The high is always a great profit taking area. Okay, the high of a structure is always a great profit taking area, which was this high. Okay, just remember guys, the rules for the D-line strategy. Okay, just to keep it simple without Elliott wave theory, the rules for the D-line strategy, when you have a trend and price breaks out, okay, and it breaks out again, the rule for the strategy is that that's your target, that's your ultimate target. So once that high is taken, theoretically that's where you can close the trade or leave a small runner to the upside. But the rules for the strategy is when you play the D-line strategy, that is your ultimate target. So if this trade turns into a losing trade, you only have yourself to blame. You didn't apply the rules of the strategy. Okay, remember guys, I can only share with you how I trade and how I approach the markets, but it's up to you to follow your own rules, stick to them. Yeah, CVD threw me too, I must say guys. CVD threw me as well. But it's still bullish. It's really still bullish. It's still throwing me, I must say, it's still throwing me the insane bullishness on CVD at the moment. 3 confirmations, 4 confirmations. So for me, this is not an easy trade, and it's a trade that I'm happy to miss. I will look for a new trading opportunity. So guys, remember, I don't have, or me, one as a technical trader does not have to trade every opportunity. When something doesn't make sense, it's really okay to not be part of that trade. You look for a next opportunity that makes sense for you. The one from this morning made a lot of sense for me, so I traded it. This short was not an easy short, and I'm happy to miss it. Because what could happen here as well is that this 5th wave ends in an ending diagonal. So what if this happens? Oh, it's not great. It's not great because it needs to be contracting. It's already a bit... but then price needs to form the low here. But I really like to consider ending diagonals when there's overlap between wave 1. But anyways, what I want to see, that if price turns around and it does that, then you have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If price gets to my area of interest, I will entertain that short. If price continues down here, then I'm looking for a long at the 2-hour order block, like I've explained. Maybe I deleted the 2-hour order block. If you go to the 2-hour time frame, let's put it in again. I might have deleted it by mistake, but here's a 2-hour order block. Nice little support. Okay. So for me, it's okay to miss the short because I know that there's a potential longing opportunity. Okay, it can do that, right? Potential longing opportunity for me. If I do take that long, I will let the community know. And I will highlight the levels as well, because interesting Fibonacci levels, and I know fib extensions is not always easy for everyone, but let's say price does successfully reject from here and it doesn't take the local high again. Fib extension levels that I will be keeping an eye on is from this high, and I'm going to magnet this one so it's exact to the low, to the high. If price is forming an, oops, way too aggressive, 3-wave structure in A, 3-wave structure in B, this C wave has targets. 1-to-1 extension, which will be a running flat. You guys have seen running flats before, where you're expecting the C wave to take the low of A and it doesn't. Your 1-to-1 extension is your first target. Let me just take this fib out the way, it's creating confusion. Most commonly, your C wave finds support between the 1.236 and the 1.382, which aligns with the 2-hour order block. And then a little bit of an extension to the downside is the 1.618. So I can pay attention to these levels for an A, B, C, and then take the high again. Devold, is it possible that we currently at the last microwave of wave 2 of C correction pattern, now about to go to 55k? Yeah, that is a possibility. Hi Master D, I'll show you guys quickly again what I see on the higher time frames. Hi Master D, can you analyze the chart as inverted chart? It's going to be the same analysis, just upside down. Rico, double 1-2s in the making to the downside. Yeah, it could be a double 1-2. It could be a double 1-2. 1-2, 1-2. And that's sometimes the danger about 3-wave structures. Okay, the most dangerous thing about a 3-wave structure is that it does this. It looks like a 3-wave structure. You long. Okay, and price does that. And it is a 1-2, 1-2, whoop, 3-4, 5-4 to the downside. That's the most dangerous thing about a 3-wave structure. And this is why you also need to analyze the corrections to give it probabilities. So I did look at a double 1-2 with this correction to the downside. Okay. Because some people would have said, well, Devold, what about a 1-2? Okay. 1-2 and it falls, but look at how large that correction is compared to that correction. So based on probabilities is not what you want to see for nested 1-2s. So you know, this is why probabilities are so powerful, is that how often do you see nested 1-2s do this? Is there berry CVD? Okay, and then it's the structure to the upside that gave me the clue as well. So I can see that the three-wave structure to the downside, which I acknowledge can be nested 1-2s. But then this structure gave me the clue. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ooh, there's a 5-wave structure to the upside after this low. It's not really something you want to see for nested 1-2s. You want to see a 3-wave structure to the upside. Okay, and then that correction gave me another clue. Choppy, 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 choppy. I was like, okay, there's a high chance to at least take that high. Then maybe that high, and that's how I took profits to the upside. So, yeah. I want to clean up the kitchen. Someone asked me, yes, on the higher time frame. Let's go to the 4-hour time frame. This structure, I don't care when it ends, but for now, okay, this is just based on structure. For now, this structure is a 3-wave structure, which means most of the time, okay, we just went through the bull cycle 3-wave structure to the upside, but most of the time, a 3-wave structure results in price taking the low. And as long as the structure remains a 3-wave structure, the probabilities are higher to take that high, to take that low, sorry. Because it's not common, okay, for price to reverse the lows in a 3-wave structure unless, but my word, we need a lot of price action for this, unless price does this. Something like this. No. Something like this. Guys, but you can see it's extremely early to talk about something like this. And it's also not high probability to start a bull market with 3-wave structures. 3-wave in 1, 3-wave in 2, 3-wave, all structures has to be 3-wave structures, otherwise the scenario gets invalidated. 3-wave down, 3-wave up, and then it corrects and it continues. But to start a bull market like this does not carry the highest probability. But secondly, you need a lot of price action before we can even consider this scenario. So for me, the easiest thing to say right now is based on current price action, it's a 3-wave, which means it has an increased probability to take the low, unless all of that mess still happens. Okay. Guys, remember to smash up that like button if you do enjoy the live stream, the education, the analysis paralysis. Hi, Master D. Can you... Okay, I've gone through that. Can Y be impulse to downside? A wave Y has to be a 3-wave structure. ABC. A wave Y has to be a 3-wave structure, of which the last wave in the 3-wave structure is an ABC. So let's say you have a W, X, Y. Okay, let's make it big so everyone can see. Primary, put on the lines. Your wave Y, that little bad boy, has to have this. Has to have an ABC inside of it. Wave Y has to be a 3-wave structure, of which the last wave, that one, is a 5-wave move. So it can be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3-wave, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but it forms a ABC inside of wave Y. This can then be an ABC in wave W. This can be very complex in wave, but let's just keep it simple. ABC, but you can see it's ABC, 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 and you get a WXY. But wave Y is not allowed to be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then it's an ABC. That's allowed. There's not a WXY then. Right. Always smash button. Please show us the highest probability in daily time frame. I've already gone through the daily time frame, and I will do it again and again in the next live streams. Unfortunately, I have run out of time. Remember, guys, I will keep the community up to date if I do jump into another trade. We did have an amazing long that I shared inside of the community this morning. An absolute amazing long for those of you that did take it. If it aligns with your analysis, of course. Okay, there you go. As it happened, I posted it. Interesting scenario. I know you know exactly where to put your stop loss. I know why I'm entering, and I know where to take profits. Obviously, guys, I don't just leave the whole position and only take profits at the highs. That's not how I trade. Maybe it's how you trade, but it's not how I trade, because I'm very aware that price can form a three-wave structure, which I did post. I said, guys, although I'm posting this, I think there's a high chance to move up, but this can happen. Price literally swings the highs, creates a B, and falls back to the downside. That's why profit taking is so important. And this is now what it looks like price wants to do. Yeah, on the smaller time frame. It literally swings the high. Okay, so this could now be an A, B, C, and it falls to the downside. So, you know, I did make people aware that this is definitely something that can unfold. Right, so that trade was shared. Well, basically how I approach and analyze the markets. I did take that trade. I just need to update my journal. I did take that trade, but I also took a loss. When I just started the live stream, I took a loss. I will go and update that. I think it was a $1,700 loss. Okay, but I am keeping the losses small and I'm keeping the wins big. And that's what keeps me profitable. Right, if you want to be part of the community, you can send me the word access and I'll send you the instructions on how you can be part of the community. Remember to smash up that like button if you do enjoy the analysis, the education, the trading, secret sauce. Subscribe for future notifications. It's not just myself here on this channel. Andy also goes live. He's a very experienced, seasoned, successful trader. He has his own way and style of explaining things as well. We are very similar, but still different in our approach. So thanks for joining the live stream. That's unfortunately all I have time for today. I will see the community members inside of the community tomorrow. I will most probably do a short, tomorrow I'm going to do a short YouTube update, but I'm going to spend most of my day in the community tomorrow. So if you want to be part of the community, send me the word access to my Telegram. Thank you so much for joining the live stream. Until the next one, cheers for now.